Is it his agenda stuff?
Yeah, there should be some sitting right there.
Thanks,
Yep. Anybody else need one? I can make some more copies if you want.
Okay, I'm going to open the meeting of the New Durham Board of Selectmen. This is Wednesday, September 7th, 2016. It's now 7 o'clock in the evening. And to my right, I have,
David Swenson,
Gregory Anthes.
Scott Kinman, Town Administrator.
and I'm David Pickford, the chairman of the board. First thing I want to say is the packet keeps disappearing at the end of the meeting. We wanted to keep that here at the town hall. Isn't that right?
Yeah, just in case somebody else would like to review it.
Yeah, so when everybody leaves, still leave the packet behind with them that we left out. First on our docket, we have Justin Conway from the McGinnis Group. So would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely.
Tell us what you get to offer.
We're just going to go through the proposal, and
Yeah.
this is my turn.
Whatever you'd like.
What's that?
Hello,
Whatever
everyone.
you'd like.
My name is Justin Conway. I'm an auctioneer with Paul McGinnis Auctioneer. Our office is out of Northampton, New Hampshire. I live in Dover, New Hampshire.
I'm going to interrupt one. If you pull that closer, they'll be able to get you a little bit better on camera.
Yeah,
There, thank you.
Better?
Is that okay?
So I had sent this proposal in earlier in the week, or last week rather, so I hope you've had a chance to review some of it. Short of just reading through the proposal, I'll basically give you the lowdown of what we want to do. So I've sold hundreds of properties at live auction, on-site foreclosures, bank-owned properties. We sell some trophy properties, oceanfront, things like that. Live auctions are great. They have their place. We have different formats. Sometimes we do simulcast auctions where we have live on site and we have online bidding at the same time. So online bidders can bid remotely against the live bidders that are on site at the auction. We have sealed bid sales. But what I would like to do, and what I think would be best for these 13 properties, would be an online-only auction. The reason for that, and I know that sometimes folks, they've seen live auctions, they think the auctioneer is going to convince everybody to bid, and that's true in a lot of cases. With properties like these, where there's not going to be a lot of interest, there'll be some. We have some shells, we have some vacant raw land, some are on Class 6 roads, and we have a waterfront building lot on Bear Lake. So, we will have some interest, but what I think would be best would be to do online only. That way, people have the opportunity, rather than waiting until a Saturday to come in and they've got to hang around for a few hours to be part of the auction. What they can do is we'll have open houses at the appropriate properties or land they can drive by, and then at that time they can go home and bid online. So they put a credit card on our website to be able to bid, and then they need to close in 30 or 45 days, whatever terms that we set. So really what I'm pushing is I think that an online auction would be best. I think that these properties, I think that we should sell them, offer them absolute. I think where there may not be some competition for some of these raw pieces, an absolute auction brings people to the table. It's just more interesting to folks than if they think that the seller has set a high reserve that it's just not worth their time to come. What they want to know is that if they come to the auction or online and they're the highest bidder against everybody else on the same platform, all they have to do is be the highest bidder and be able to own it, then they're more interested and apt to participate in an auction. So that's kind of where I'm at. Do you have any questions from the proposal or what you've seen?
How do you do the money aspect of it? What percentage you get, what percentage do we get?
Sure. So we are going to, we're going to cover the cost of marketing. Okay, so I've outlined where we'll be placing that, Salem Press, newspaper, and all the other periodicals as well. As far as commission, you're not going to pay a commission. We charge a 10% buyer's premium over and above the high bid price. So let's say that the high bid on a property is $100,000 sold. The buyer knows they're really paying $110,000. We keep our 10% and you get your full hammer price. Okay, so you don't pay a commission like you would in a traditional real estate situation. We're gonna cover the marketing fees, so I've already explained that. So we'll create a detailed marketing plan and provide that with the contract so you can see it, so you'll know that it's adequate in what we're trying to do.
Now, would you be flexible on this only online? I mean, is that something that you consider?
Absolutely, we do all of these options. It's just, my initial reaction is I think that this would do well because, and I talked about it in the proposal a little bit. Sometimes at town sales, I find that everybody seems to show up and everybody seems to know each other, okay? So when they're there and you know, one person is bidding on a property and then kind of their neighbor or their friend realizes that's the person bidding on it, they just, you know, they don't bid against them, they'll just let them have it. This is a way where everyone is anonymous. Your bidder number 1701, the other person's bidder 1702. They have no idea who each other are. So I think that's a good way to retain value on each property and just eliminate some of that. It's not collusion by any means, but it's just unintended. That's my reasoning, but yeah, we'd be happy to do any.
And then
any
a
format.
follow-up question is, how do they find the site where you'll be actually doing the auction?
Sure, it's on our website.
Yeah.
So you go to our auction schedule.
So you'll put that out in your publicity, here's our website, this is how to get onto it, these are the requirements you have to have for it.
Correct, all the terms are on the website.
Hold on just a second. Anybody else on the board first?
I'll have some later, go ahead.
Okay. Doc, you want to?
Would you establish a minimum bid to start?
That's what, so when I initially said that I think that we should offer these absolute, I think that what that means is basically you're guaranteeing to sell the property to the highest bidder regardless of price.
Regardless.
Okay, so that's scary for a seller, but it shouldn't be. Bidders are gonna call me and they're gonna say, are they selling absolute? And that's when they're interested. And if they're not, I almost wish that they were selling absolute because I think that I'm gonna get more money for them at the auction. It's the way it goes. Sometimes some properties, if there's not enough competition, they might not do very well. But other properties might make up for it. Does that make sense? So some might do well to make up for the ones that didn't do so well. But you're right, there's a tipping point. There's, you know, I think there was a 4-acre piece on a Class 6 road. There might not be more than one person that wants that. So sure, an absolute auction, if it doesn't generate at least 2 bidders, that could fall flat in its face, absolutely. That's a possibility, that's something that we work around. But like I'm saying, I just think that it would generate more interest in the rest of the properties. We have 13, I think actually 12, but one of those properties goes with another property, but please.
One?
We have somebody else here, which you can take.
Mr. Bickford?
Gary?
Travis online auction, is this like, was it eBay that you can bid for stuff?
Yep.
And is it like that it's up there for like a week and it goes back and forth between sellers?
You got it. That's exactly what it is. So it's a timed online-only auction. So you're gonna be able to go onto the bidding portal, okay? So once you've signed in, you're gonna get a bidder number. You've probably put down a $2,500 hold on your credit card. And then, once you get in, we attach all of the, we attach PDFs of all the pertinent information about each piece of real estate right to the picture of the property and the description where you're gonna bid. So it's timed. So if there are 13 of them, let's say, they'll likely either end at a staggered time, so one will end at 7:01 and then one at 7:03, or they'll all end at the same time. But what there is there's extended bidding. So if I have 13 properties and one of them gets a bid, so if the auction's going to end at 7 o'clock and I get a bid at 6:59, all of them extend 5 more minutes. Okay? So it try to alleviate that issue of someone has to run to the bathroom or just someone trying to hit it, right at the last minute. But we give you 5 minutes in case there's some kind of computer glitch. But that's the whole point of that. And it usually generates more because people have a chance. They thought they almost lost it, but now they're thinking about it. I think I will bid again. And that's where the magic happens. And truthfully, kind of the way it works is that we'll have it open for a week, and 99% of the bidding is going to happen in the last hour. It happens every time. It's just human nature the way it is, but we're happy to make it available for a week. Yep.
One?
Yeah, a couple of questions. One, we obviously recognize that there are mixed popularities, if you will, to the properties. And you mentioned absolute, are you talking about absolute on all of them, or would we be able to maybe mix and match a couple of properties if we felt there should be a reserve or there
Sure.
should be a minimum?
My suggestion would be that your more desirable properties are the ones that should be absolute, not the ones with reserves on them. You're just gonna have more interested parties bidding regardless. Like I said, on some of those that, you know, might generate one bidder, yeah, sure, you could have a minimum on those, so they'd have to pay at least $5,000 for that lot. Maybe something like that. Yeah.
Then secondly, tell me a little bit about your marketing plan.
Sure.
How is that? I read this, so don't.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I get the right papers.
Okay.
So our marketing plan, obviously, a lot of the money is going to be spent on signage. There's a lot of property, and they're going to need signs, directionals, things like that. But we typically we market an auction for 5 to 6 weeks. The bulk of the newspaper ads run about 3 weeks before the auction ends. Okay, but we'll already have signs out, things like that. Just on our website, we have a lot of people that look at our website for auctions as it is without the marketing. And then again, so we have several papers. So like I said, we create the marketing plan, send that over to you. But you know, we play the Salmon Press, Concord Monitor, the Laconia Citizen, Manchester Union Leader, Seacoast News, which includes Lois Foster's Daily Democrat, and over into Sanford, Maine. So some of these properties,
You do the Baysider?
we will. Okay, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of papers within the Salmon Press. I'm a member of MLS, so I'm a realtor and a broker in New Hampshire, Maine, as well as an auctioneer. So I have the ability to put some of these properties on MLS. So we can put them in as absolute, or if they have small reserves, that's the listing price that people are going to see. If they're absolute, I need to put in the assessed value, and we go from there, but we explain that in the listing. But it's very powerful because all of that information is then spidered to Zillow and Trulia. You've probably heard of those. They're very popular right now, but that's how you get all of that information in there.
So basically, the marketing is newspaper ads.
That's a bulk of it. That's where a lot of people are looking for upcoming auctions. But then MLS, maybe not every property will go in, but the ones that justify it, they will go in. Yep.
All right. Anyone else?
But when would you look at moving the properties? What would you look for timetables?
Well, I mean, you know, 5 to 6 weeks from the signing of the auction contract. I mean, we can do a contract shortly, you know, within a few days, and get going on them. I do all the due diligence. So we put together a property information package. If it's online only, I put together a property information package that we send out electronically to potential bidders that explains how to bid at an absolute auction, more so than the tax card, tax map for each property. Those are actually on the bidding portal site. So that's one of the things that we create, and that's towards the beginning of the process. But yeah, I mean, 5 to 6 weeks of marketing, so 45 days or so. We could have
So
the auction
in terms of timing, market, if you will, timing of the market, that's still pretty decent. 45
We're
days
still-
out is roughly the early part of November.
We're still there now, yep, but much longer. And obviously, it's gonna get a little more difficult. Yep. So if we get our signage out now on the, you know, the lot over on the lake, that's gonna be seen. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of drive-bys for some of the properties, but that happens to be one of them.
Mark Sullivan.
It seems obvious, but you haven't mentioned it, I assume these are open bids?
When you say open, what do you mean?
If I'm bidding against something, I can see what they.
Absolutely. Yep. They see your bid, they see when you bid, they see the increment that they would need to advance, which we try to keep as low as we can so people feel like they want to participate. Yep. Yeah, it's really just like a live auction. It's just people aren't looking at your face and they don't know your name.
Dot?
And don't be offended by this, please.
Okay,
I'd
sure.
just like to know how long you've been doing this.
Sure, I've been with Paul for 8 years. Yep, I was with C.B. Richard Ellis, a commercial brokerage for a year before that.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
All right, anybody else? All right, for the sake of disclosure, I bought a piece of property through this gentleman, if you recall, in June.
I do, absolutely.
Yeah.
On auction, right?
what do you call it, kind of an auction?
There was a foreclosure auction,
Yeah,
yeah, live auction on site.
live on the spot.
Yep,
On
yep, we
the
had
property.
two properties for the same mortgagee, SEDC, and that was one of them. I sold, before that for them, I sold a industrial building in Summersworth for $700,000.
I missed that one.
I know.
All right, well, thank you, Justin.
Sure, absolutely, thanks for having me, I appreciate it.
All
So
right.
I understand the online thing can be a little scary because you haven't maybe seen it a lot. And again, I just want to say that we would do, live auctions, we have done them forever. I just think that this would benefit from the latter. All right?
Yeah. Something like
Thank you.
eBay.
All set?
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Justin.
Sure.
Mark, we have agendas there too. Thanks, Justin, I appreciate it.
Sure. You all set with me, you think?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you very
Scott,
much.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Nice to see you all.
Thank you.
All right, the next appointment we have is with Mr. Cook, Ronald Cook, right?
That's correct.
All right.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for inviting us here to talk with you. Fundamentally, what I wanted to pose to the board is a question as to the basis upon which you drew the conclusion that was reflected in your letter of July 18th. You sent us a registered letter telling us that you had concluded that the fence that we constructed was in the town right away and it should be removed within 45 days. But we don't know the information upon which you based that. And we don't know as well what other information that is pertinent to this that you may have learned.
Well, it's out beyond the boundaries, isn't it?
We
It's
don't
out
believe
beyond-
so.
Huh?
We don't believe so,
Oh, you don't?
no. I'm curious as
There's a
to,
survey marker right there, isn't there, on the corner of this side of the fence?
not that I know of. I don't know of that as a survey marker. There's no other markers.
It should have a hub on it with, I think Don Volt surveyed that.
Well, I've not found it.
Oh.
As you perhaps know, we only moved into town in February.
Mm.
And, which is why when we decided to do this, we wanted to make sure we did it the right way. And one of the things that I've done on a number of occasions is look for survey markers, and I just haven't found any.
Huh.
But I'm also curious if you are aware of the rest of the history of this exercise, the activities that we pursued before constructing the fence to find out exactly what the requirements were. There were really two projects going on at the same time. We were expanding a deck at the rear of the house and putting the fence up. And if you're familiar with the property, you probably can understand why we wanted the fence up, and that is it's exposed to the road completely. And provide us with some privacy, and it was a lot more efficient than planting vegetation, especially in an area that's exposed to salt and the like. We began the project on May 15th, and the very first thing we did was to contact the building inspector to clarify what was necessary on our part to do both of the projects. Peter indicated that we didn't need a building permit for the fence installation, but that we did need a permit for the deck expansion. And that he did tell us that the fence would have to be set back a certain distance, but that he didn't know what that distance was. I came down here and met with Laura and got the necessary documents and completed them and returned them on May 11th, I believe was the day that I returned them to the office.
I'm sorry, return the
Application.
application. Okay, thank you.
And that's when it was determined what the fee was for the deck. And we dropped that off the next day. I say we, actually my wife dropped it off. And inquired specifically as to whether there was a town ordinance that set out what the setback had to be for the fence. And no one that we spoke with here was aware. Everybody said there's probably a setback requirement, but we don't know what it is, that the setbacks for different roads within the town were different. I actually went online, reviewed all the town ordinances, and found no guidance there as well. Simultaneously to the preparation for the fence and deck project, I searched out Mike Gingras in the field one day and met with Don Vashon and discussed them coming by to the house, because one of the solutions to one of the problems we were dealing with was to have a culvert installed underneath the end of our driveway. They did come by, I believe it was the very next day, and the three of us talked about whether the town could absorb the installation of that. And it will probably come as no surprise to you that the answer was no. That we could underwrite that if we wished, but that was not going to be something that the town was going to do at this late date. And while they were there, we talked about the fence. And the three of us were in the roadway and walking back and forth. And again, I don't know how familiar you are with the property, but the section of our property that runs parallel with the road has been burned at some point in time. I don't know who did it, or whether it was the town, or whether it was the property owner, but there's a culvert, sort of, and then it runs up to a berm and back into the yard. And Mike and Don walked the section from, well, actually the far side of the road, with the center line of the road, toward the berm, and said that at a certain point, which was in the culvert, that if I placed it there or behind, I would be fine. And so we actually installed an additional 4 feet from the culvert in order to, well, to in fact make the best use of the berm. We put it at the crown of the berm.
What day was
Can I
that?
just hold you up for Mr. Clerk?
No, go ahead.
So the placement in which you speak of, in which Don Vashon and Mike Ginders spoke about, was your conversation relative to the culvert in the first instance?
No. We disposed of the discussion of the culvert very quickly when they said that the town wouldn't be installing it at the town's cost.
Okay.
And we moved on to part B of the discussion, which was what was the setback requirement for the fence, which we were also going to be installing.
Yeah, no, what date was that?
I don't remember the date,
But it was after May 11th then.
but it was
I
after
think
May
that's the last
11th,
day you gave me.
and it was just before Memorial Day, because Don and his crew were up by Merry Meeting grading roads in preparation for the arrival of summer. And Mike was in the field, and Don arranged for them to visit the house, and I think it was the very next day, but I didn't make note of it. So it was late May.
So both of them came to see you
Yes.
in late May.
As I said, when we discussed all of this with our contractor, we decided to push it back even further in order to make use of the berm, but also for fear that we didn't want it too close to the road for obvious reasons, not the least of which has become part of this whole discussion, and that is snow plowing. I can assure you that as new residents of the town, we wanted to make sure that we had done everything we needed to do, because the last thing that I wanted to do in the first 6 months of living here was appear before you after receiving a certified letter. I would have rather met you someplace else. one of the important things to note, I think, is that the project took a lot longer than we planned. It took over a month for it to be completed for personal reasons relative to the contract.
This is the fence or the deck or
This
both?
is- No, I'm ignoring I'll get to the deck in a minute.
Okay,
This is all about the fence,
Fence.
which you want me to remove.
right.
I'm just trying to fill in
We
the rest of the story,
We
as
appreciate that.
Paul Harvey would say.
Yeah. the rest of the story.
The contractor that we hired had an illness in his family that took him away regularly. And thus, it took seemingly forever to have it done. He would be there maybe 2 or 3 days a week. Again, I don't know if you've been by to look at it, but the construction that this required was digging 3-foot holes and then installing underneath the white plastic, there are 4x4s that are sunken into the hole, into the concrete, and then the plastic sheathing is placed over it, and it's all connected. I forget off the top of my head how many holes there are. I think there might be 24. It's the total distance of the fencing, including the wings at the end, is over 100. It's 60 feet on the east side and 40 feet on the west side. And when this all began, we talked with, our contractor was John White, we talked with John, and John is familiar with Mike Gingras and Don Vachon, as well as other guys that work on the road crew. And on a regular basis, as he was working on the fence, they drove by. Same thing with Pete Varney, in that distinct truck that he drives. They drove by on a regular basis and saw the construction underway. And never once did anybody stop and say, I think there might be a problem here. That didn't happen until it was all said and done, and Pete stopped at my house one day and said that he had just responded to a complaint from Mike Gingras that the fence was too close to the road and that I was going to have to move it. Pete and I discussed the different options, and he went away to determine what in fact the town was going to require to do, and the next thing I got was the letter from you gentlemen. That was on, I do know that date, that Pete stopped by the house on June 17th. In the course of our discussion, Pete indicated that one solution to the problem was that we could sign a waiver or a release of liability in favor of the town. But that was it. That was the extent of the discussion. So we're left feeling as though we've done everything we could have to determine what it is that we needed to do. We relied on the information that we were provided. I can assure you, again, I don't know, I've never seen any one of the three of you inspecting the fence. The only people who did that were Mike and Don and Peter. So I don't know if you understand the extent to which moving that fence would cost. I mean, it would be installing a brand new fence, including the 24 holes.
Do you know
Ron-
approx?
Two at the same time.
Just a quick question, you mentioned that, if I understood you correctly, that someone offered that you could sign a waiver or a release. Did they formally say that? Was it a verbal conversation? And if so, either way, what was your response?
Well, I knew that was a potential resolution, but it wasn't my understanding at that point in time in talking with Pete that was an offer that he had authority to make.
So you understood it to be saying this is a potential option, not an option, A. It was a verbal conversation?
Yeah,
or
it was
in
with
writing?
Peter.
Okay. And so you basically have not formally responded to that?
Well, it wasn't an offer.
Okay.
I didn't consider it an offer because I didn't consider the building inspector to have the authority to do that.
Thank you.
And upon thinking about it, developed a concern that if the, Mike is not the road agent, he's the director of public works, do I have that correct?
And right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. If the placement of the fence was of a concern to him, it concerned me that I was granting a license for damage to the fence if I gave a release. And so I didn't consider, well, since I never really was offered that, we didn't consider it anymore. And we've come to where we are as a result of receiving your letter and then our responding to it.
Have you surveyed this corner or this line to see if the fence is in fact on your property or on town property?
I have not, no.
When you purchase the property here in New Hampshire, they don't have you survey lots? They don't do that here?
No, there is, I have discovered that there is some sort of plan that was on record in the registry. It does not, it's not stamped, so I didn't put much stock into it, and because I don't know who did it. And I've not found what you thought to be there, David. And like I said, I've been out there a number of times. One thing that I haven't done yet is I haven't met my neighbor behind me, who I think carved that lot out of his land at some point in time. That's what the title search
It
suggested.
wasn't him, it was another fellow that took the gravel out of there. Gosh, I can't remember his name now.
Oh, they took gravel out of that
That was
lot?
all the Durham's property, and then he bought it, that area, and they did cut your piece out. You know, there was no gravel or enough to go after where you were.
You're not a new resident here, are you? You're not a new resident here, are you?
No?
I'm only being
No.
facetious.
But, yeah, you have more to tell us, or
What's it?
did you have more to tell us?
Well, I just wanted to touch on the deck.
Oh,
Because the same day that Pete came to tell me about the fence, I said, well, while you're here, why don't you inspect the deck? So we went around the back of the house, and he looked at it, and he said, I don't have any jurisdiction over that. It's not new construction, it's not attached to the house. And so I said, well, why did we pay you $39.50? So, all in all, the visit was not a very productive one. And it's brought us here tonight, and you may have noticed in our letter to you, we mentioned the phrase municipal estoppel. And I don't mean to stand here and make legal arguments to you, because I'm not going to. But if you were to look at the criteria for municipal estoppel, I think it rises to the level of an exception to what otherwise might be a rule, although I still don't know where the setback is. It seems to be a moving target. When I talked to Mike and Don, they said 10 feet from the center line, and where the fence is 14, if not 14 and a half feet. So I don't know. As I said when I started this, we were looking to determine the basis upon which you drew the conclusion that it was in the right of way. Because based upon our efforts, it's not.
okay.
Do you know, Mr. Cook, what this, from the center of the road, how far the fence is off the center line of the road?
You said 14 and a half.
Yeah, it's 14 or 14 and a half feet. 'Cause we went that extra distance, not just for additional footage, but because, like I said, we put it at the top of the berm. The idea being that if there was going to be runoff, it was going to be away from our property and not into it.
Okay. And when the two fellows were there from the Public Works, Don and Mike, you're saying that they told you that is the location to place the fence?
They walked off 10 feet from the center line. They did not use a tape. They walked it off, and they pointed to the culvert. And again, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but obviously the road crowns, and when it runs down toward my property, it actually goes below the road level and then comes up. And when they walked the 10 feet off, they were in the culvert. And they said if you put it here or further, you'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Clearly, I mean, I used to be a public works director, so clearly I can see where there's been a communication breach or breakdown, because clearly that would be a clear location to put a culvert, but not to put a fence. So.
In the culvert.
Yeah, you wouldn't put a fence in and/or in proximity of that culvert, for a couple different purposes. One being maintenance. Even 4 feet off the culvert would be a maintenance issue in itself. But, I think certainly we have some homework to do
Yeah,
before we get back to
we'll have
Mr. Cook and
Find out
regards
what,
to that.
we'll look into, I'll look into a survey and see if there's one on it, and,
Would you
I'm sure
welcome
there was.
myself
Absolutely.
as far as coming to your home and maybe we could take a look for that marker? And,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to.
I might be able to help you out too, if you don't mind.
No, I'd like to do some problem solving because I'd like not to move the fence.
Right.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
not sure
I'm not sure we can guarantee that, but,
Well, that's what I would wish for.
okay.
We can understand that.
Yeah.
And if you need any other information for me, as I mentioned, I did find a plan, unstamped, and I'm happy to share that with you.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the deeds, there's the chain of deeds with descriptions, but nothing's particularly helpful in trying to determine how wide the right-of-way is and what the setback requirement would be. Meaning where the town's right-of-way begins and ends.
Okay. And the numbers on the permit that you filled out, phone numbers, those are good numbers to
Yes.
try to coordinate with. Very good.
You got a phone number?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Ron, thank you for presenting the information. We appreciate it, and we'll take a look.
All right, well, thank you for having us, and I appreciate your listening.
Thank you very much for coming. It gives us a lot of information. I appreciate it.
Well, that's what I was hoping.
Now, for the sake of disclosure, I own the property the other side of you. You know, on the,
On the east side?
that would be east.
Oh, well, I've been on your property.
And back.
Looking for pins.
I can show you.
Is that all right?
Yeah, sure, it's yours too.
Good to meet you.
We share it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, we could, double talk, we can talk about this.
I don't think we need to talk about it at all.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to public input. Do we have anybody for public input tonight? Start by Zell.
Yes, I'd like to take advantage of public input to commend the work of the New Durham Police Department the last few weeks, which culminated over Labor Day weekend while we were during our weekend. They were hard at work, culminated in 5 arrests. Those 5 arrests have, well, actually 4 arrests, one turned himself in, but then subsequently was arrested, have laid to rest and resolved issues in 7 communities in this area. Leadership, tenacity, and dedication is what brought that about. This outstanding job makes even more disappointing and concerning to me that 2 selectmen continue to make public statements which disparage the leadership of the New Durham Police Department. And you continue to do this in spite of admonitions and advice warning you not to do it from town council and Primex attorneys. I feel your short-sighted actions have led us into another lawsuit, which we're probably going to lose.
I'd like to know how you know what town council is telling us.
I have heard what town council has told you. That you
And who did you hear it from?
Mhm.
I'm asking, who did you hear it from?
I guess I'll keep that information private.
Then we don't really know that you did, do we?
Well, I
Okay.
did.
All right.
I guess I'm putting it out on my word then, that you were advised not to disparage the chief publicly.
Well, I find that interesting.
Do you both deny that?
We're not in a position where we're supposed to divulge that. It's interesting that you know that.
Do you both deny that you were
Dot, I'm not answering any of your questions. You don't have an answer for
Well,
mine.
then I'm not answering.
Anybody else?
Okay.
Cecile, Chase, from,
From Fairmeadow Road.
good.
It's been almost 5 months since the court ordered Chief Bernier return to his position, and he has returned. It's been almost 5 months since the citizens who also filed a lawsuit settled the lawsuit. Since that time, there's really been no acknowledgement of the settlement of either suit, and it has come to my attention that Chief Bernier's lawsuit has not been settled because you gentlemen do not want to sign a non-disparagement clause to settle that suit. And I understand you don't want to answer any questions about that, but I do have a few questions that you can answer. First, what is the cost to date of the legal action to fire Chief Bernier? And, you know, if you don't have that information now, I would expect it to come from the town administrator. And that should be broken down into back pay, penalties, attorney's fees, retirement costs, anything to do with that lawsuit. What is the projected increased cost of insurance since Primex will be dropping us from the insurance pool? Those will be going up as well. The agreement with the citizens that we both signed on April 15th, we've had no updates as to the progress in accomplishing those things. I do see that there is a policy under review for the community room. But I think the people in, not only the citizens who filed the lawsuit, but the people in the community expect all of these things to have been settled by now. 5 months is a long time to be dragging our heels, settling something that the court ordered settled 5 months ago, when there are important, really important things that are going on in this town that need to be discussed. Certainly the issue at Downing's Pond is a concern to everybody in this community, especially the residents who live on the edge of that pond. Going forward, the budget process needs to be addressed. It's time that we settle this and move on.
Okay, Downing's Pond is being addressed, and this Bernier suit has no connection with that or any drag on it or slowing it down at all. All right? No connection.
It's
Same thing, and there's no connection with the budget either. Working on the
Well,
budget. We haven't just
there is a
begun
connection with
that.
the budget.
We have just,
Legal costs and things like
but she,
that. would
I
be-
think
and-
she
and insurance
said,
rate
I think she
increases.
said that we were holding things up.
What I said is, you're paying attention, too much attention to something that should have been settled when there's other things that really can be addressed.
We're paying attention to everything. Anything that comes up, we try to pay attention to. We do our best.
Why hasn't that lawsuit been settled?
I am not in a position to tell you that right now.
Why
And
would you
it
refuse,
sounds like-
why would you refuse to sign a non-disparagement clause? It's a matter of...
You don't know that I did, do you? I want to know how you did. How do you know that I did? I don't know of anybody that,
Here's
did anybody
another-
sign? Who?
Yes.
Here's another question for you. Were you given legal advice before you fired Chief Bernier that he was protected under RSA 105?
He was?
Were you given legal advice that he would be protected?
Who would be giving me that legal advice?
An attorney?
Can I answer that? Or should I be better off
I
to, not at this
think,
time?
I would tell you until everything's all settled and,
Okay,
so you
can't answer that.
Well, I have a copy of an email from the New Hampshire Municipal Association that's public information
Yeah?
that informed
You-
the town administrator who works on your behalf on May 15th of last year that the police chief would be protected under 105, whether he was full-time or part-time, for being dismissed without cause. And you continued on your merry way at our expense.
Okay, you're,
My 5 minutes are up,
yep.
okay?
I will respond to that. The cost excluding, the cost, I keep a running total, quite frankly, of the cost for this. My total, which is not an official finance office total, but my total is in excess of $140,000, excluding any insurance payments. So, but that's my total, it's not official. I can provide detail on what that is.
Well, you may
It's
wanna-
public information.
You might want to provide it to the board.
Sure, it's public information. You've looked at it.
Yes, sir.
Jay, down in Miami.
Why don't you come up here? So
My question to that would be.
what'd you say your name was?
Jay Downey out of Ham Road. My question to that
Jay
would
what?
be.
Jay what?
Downey, D-O-W-N-E-Y.
Oh, Garland?
I'm sorry?
You said it fast.
Downey, D-O-W-N-E-Y. My
Downey.
question is, if it costs us $140,000, give or take $1, how come nobody's been fired?
I mean, nobody what?
Been fired? Why don't you guys either resign if it's your fault or it's the attorney's fault? It cost my company $140,000 on a lawsuit. I'd be gone before the lawsuit was even brought to court. Not to mention, your court lawsuit got settled before it even went to court on a summary judgment. That's pathetic, guys. That is pathetic. A summary judgment. You didn't even go in front of the judge. You just read what you guys all put out. That's horrible. That's embarrassing. I know that's embarrassing for you guys. It's embarrassing for our town. Let's just get over this and move on. It's ridiculous. You guys know it. I know it. They know it. The whole state knows it. It's pretty sad. Pretty sad. We need to move on.
And to answer your question, that $140,000 is composed of $92,900 plus on the salary, back pay, and all of those, like, et cetera, et cetera.
This is
It includes
this is a chance for people to
$47,800 in
talk to
legal
us
costs to
from the
the,
public and using up their time.
they asked the question.
We asked the
Okay.
Wait, excuse me, Chair.
I thought we'd use it another time.
But-
This eats up their
That's public
time.
information.
Too bad. But I thought we had all three discussed this, and that public information was from the public. Swins told me 2 meetings ago when I tried to respond to something that I shouldn't respond.
Mhm.
So
But you guys didn't answer
I
my
did, you
question.
should talk to the chair on whether, how he responded to other people in the
You
audience.
guys didn't answer my question. How come nobody's been fired?
We tried that, remember?
No.
No, no, no.
How come nobody's been fired and made the stupid decision to fire the chief? Because obviously the judge didn't.
How do you know
think
it's a
that-
stupid decision?
Because the judge decided it was a stupid decision.
The procedure was.
Well, that was dumb. If you can't follow the rules, then what the hell are you in a position to make the rules, to try to follow the rules? That's the stupid part.
We followed advice from town council.
Then he should be fired.
Okay, thank you.
Then fire him. If he's the one, fire him.
Okay.
If he's not the one,
All right.
fire the one that did.
I've heard your advice, thank you.
Yeah, but apparently you're not taking anybody's advice. You guys are too
All right,
bullheaded.
you're repeating
God.
yourself.
Just as a quick response, there were other pieces of advice that were given, so, that were contrary to what the decision was.
Apparently one. I don't know what the
Apparently
others are.
two.
You.
And whatever NHMA reference that was made,
NHMA. Yeah, I just mentioned that.
that's two.
Wait a minute. Clayton Randall.
I just want to bring up again that to this date, you have not acknowledged 600 and some townspeople that told you not to do this in the beginning.
They told us afterwards.
I don't, it was that, it was a deliberative session that I showed you the petition that was going around that was saying not to do this. And to this day, you have not acknowledged it. And it's time for the people of New Durham to stand up for what they know is right. That's all I got to say. If you want to say something, say it, 'cause you haven't said much.
Terry Jarvis.
It is my understanding that there is another court date that is approaching in the continuing saga of the town of, I believe it's Sean Bernier versus the town of New Durham. In light of the amount of money that has already been spent, I would urge the Board of Selectmen to sign the settlement agreement and cancel the court date. It's based on my experience on the Board of Selectmen, before a court date, the attorney costs accumulate, exponentially as they prepare for the court presentations. It is a budget concern as a member of the budget committee, because where's that money going to come to pay the bills that are not being covered by our insurance company? How much do we need to budget for the 2017 budget if this saga continues into 2017? I would anticipate that either Primex is going to get rid of us as a client or increase our liability costs substantially. That is a budget issue. That reflects on my taxes. On a different issue, earlier this evening, there was an excellent presentation given to all the folks that work at the elections and from the town moderator, the town clerk, etc. They very nicely provided us food. Unfortunately, because the kitchen in the fire station is kept locked, we could not get a sponge to wipe off the tables. We were scrounging around with paper napkins and small paper towels from the bathroom. It is perfectly legitimate that the town expects people that use that room to return it clean, that the tables be clean, the chairs stacked. If we can't access the sponges in the kitchen and the soap in the kitchen, how can the people that use that room fulfill their responsibilities in regards to town property?
All right, we need a sponge. Anyone else? Wait a minute, make sure there's nobody else. You'll be the last one then.
I'm going to add.
You said that was all I had to say the last time, you know.
To what I said.
What?
You're taking up his time.
Well, he said that's all I had to say last time.
Never mind.
I didn't hear what you said,
You
actually.
guys ain't worth it anymore, I'll tell you.
Okay, Clayton. All right, that will conclude our public input. Thank you very much. Agenda review. Scott, did you have something that you wanted to change on that?
The only thing that I did want to mention as to some form of deliberation relative to the two presentations in which you've received from the auction companies, whether or not there wants to be some dialogue amongst the board as to direction, or if in fact there is a auction company we wish to get a actual contract proposal from. If we can formalize,
Yeah,
I mean, I think if you're gonna do it this fall, time is running,
We need to make that decision within the week.
yeah, I think it needs to be done
So
relatively.
I don't know if we do this in non-public, if we talk about the two different auctioneers and strengths
That's a
and
public
weaknesses.
discussion.
No, I think it's
public discussion.
public,
Yeah.
I mean, I think they both provide similar type services, although different in some ways, as we heard tonight, from the two different firms. Some market some way, you know, some more expansive than others, and also this online
I think, for me, the key differentiator, everything else seems to be very similar. I think the key differentiator was it's an online or whether it's a more traditional auction type.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, everything else is pretty similar.
Like I said, the one I went to recently, and I've been in a number in the past, you kind of bite your nails that you're gonna be there on the right day, that you don't, that the kid's not gonna end up getting sick, and you gotta go to the doctors, and you can't put a bid in, or you gotta send somebody to send the bid in. So it's kind of a nail biter. I know on that auction, it got delayed, so I was all ready, and then they delayed it, and then, oh geez, now I gotta change my appointments. And sometimes you can't change them. So the online means that you can take care of it whether you're having an appointment that day and that time or not, because it's right on the mark. You know, they say 3 o'clock. You better be there at 3 o'clock.
Right. The other point was just to review the properties again, just to make sure that
Yeah.
we have, you know, all of us, including myself, make sure that we know that everybody is in agreement relative to the properties that would be given to the auctioneer, and whether or not you want to take a week, or 10 days, or 2 weeks, and, you know, at least, or give notice to the abutters relative to the properties in which we, or you had discussed of potentially being ones that were small size, you thought it would be best to ask people if they'd like to buy them because they're joining their properties. Let them know that they have a right of first refusal. I don't know if that's something, I know it's been done in the past, but whether or not that wants to continue to be done. So I guess I'm just looking for a little bit of direction as we move this forward. So,
Well, at the last meeting, the meeting before last, I went over the list that we had. I told you the ones I thought we should sell, I think there was only 2, maybe 3 of those, but I said I would not sell and put into conservation. So I'm ready to move on that. And I don't know if my other selectmen, if, I know you took notes of the ones that I said that we should go ahead and sell.
Yeah.
It's on
If you're
that
in a-
spreadsheet. On the
yeah.
far right
So
column.
you have your sheet. Would it be okay if we just kind of walk down through these and
It's on the far right column.
it's on this far right column? So do you have your sheet with you?
Well, no, I went over them and everybody was making notes, so I just assumed, once I did that, then it would be documented either in the minutes or we'd have a sheet like that.
Well, I've got both. I've got,
How does every, so,
you told us, and I've
This
got
is-
what Swen's got for us.
when was that? I don't have that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, it was in
I'm giving it last selectman meeting.
No, not that.
No,
Oh,
Scott
I don't know what that
gave it
is.
to me.
I thought so, that was my
You-
spreadsheet.
You
Yeah.
generated it, I think.
I think I copied it for
Gave it to
No, I
me.
gave it out at the last selectman meeting.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That's how you got your copy.
So the far right-hand column is what Swen's wrote down from the discussion at the last meeting. So I just want to,
Well, the first one going down there that we agreed to, if you want to go over this, is,
Oh, you want to do this now?
or we can come back to it. Or do you want to come back next week and do it? Or-
Well, I'd like to get this wrapped up and then pick, let's just figure on, let's wrap this thing up, pick the person we want, and if we need more time, another week, our next meeting's when, a week and a half from
I
now.
think the way to do this is, I'm not sure that any of us has seen the list you provided to the auctioneers. Both of them reference 13 properties. I'm assuming they're more or less these.
it was this list
Okay.
that was provided with the actual asterisks, which was the first list in which it was done.
Oh,
Okay, so
Okay.
this was the first list that was actually put together, which is 13 properties on it.
Which is, this is the ones that I went over,
Right.
Okay.
Of that stack.
of
you
the
all
stack
see.
that I went out, looked at the
Correct.
piece of property, I
That's
said
right.
which ones I'd sell, which ones I would not. So was that put somewhere then, that information?
Your list?
Yes.
Not that I'm aware of, other than what Swen's wrote down, because
That is
I
from where
believe
that
that,
came
I
from.
believe that was on the
The far right column is from where that came from.
But we can, if you've got a mark right on yours, we can walk right down through them.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm asking, do you want to just knock this out right now?
well, I can tell you which ones you said okay to. And I got notes from when you.
Right. I brought my worksheets here, so
Okay.
I can go over them again if you
And
want.
they match up with, but there are a few others that I don't have. Okay, the first one I've got is 21078.
Wait a minute. Let me-
Or do you want to go down the Swens' list? If you want to go down this list, might be easy, because everybody's got one. Right?
Yeah, you can hang right onto that, I'll write right on this.
If that's the case, let's, I think the first one I see there is 25330, which is 241 Old Bay Road, to sell that.
Wait, the map number's what?
253.
Okay, all right. So I got,
5330,
Yeah,
and that's unanimous, if everybody's in agreement?
yes.
so I got that one, and I said on that one that I would,
That's a land and a building, 1.9.
Which one is out here?
And then the next question I'm gonna pose to you is whether or not it's gonna have a reserve or it'll be absolute.
Well,
Like
let's
what?
work on that as
Two
a
different
whole,
pieces?
yeah, because
Okay,
both auctioneers have recommended that they be absolute, so
that's correct.
it's likely the majority would go that direction if we would accept their recommendation. I think the flip side would be if there is one or two that, after we've got them all identified, if there's one or two that said, No, this one really has special.
Okay,
It's easier to call that out that way.
yep,
You all set on that?
yep.
Okay, the next one is 105.
Wait. So we're going, let's see, 253,
253.30.
which is
Lot 30.
253.30, and all of us agree it's to sell.
Yep,
Is that right?
yep. Then the very next one
Okay,
down.
well, okay. All right.
Next one is 105 Ten Rod Road, which is 267, map 267, lot 23.
Oh, yeah. 267.
That is
Okay, so I got 267 here.
that's a 3-acre lot.
And I have that okay to sell.
Okay,
All right, the next,
Wait, that's 267, 23, okay.
all right, the next one is 5 Franconia Drive, which is map 210, lot 78.
210.
Now, that's over at the Copple Crown area, and the reason we decided to sell that is because it's got a shell of a house on it already.
Right,
A new shell.
Yeah.
Basically.
so wait a minute, that's 210.
And I think it had a lot added to it. So I think it's actually 2 lots, so it's not a bad, it's improved anyway.
Okay, 210, let's see, I said okay to sell on 210.
Yep.
So we got 210, 78. 210, 78. Okay.
Now, the next one, I have on the next page of this,
Okay,
and it would be Devil's Den,
we'll do map. What's the map number?
216,
216.
the 04.
Oh, wait a minute. And that's the 21 acres, right?
Yep.
And I said, yeah, we could sell it.
Okay.
So that's 216.
Now,
Wait, that's on the first, is that on the first page? No, here it is. Here it is, right here.
now that's on a class 6 road, so it's not a.
Right.
no, okay.
Okay.
Now, the next one is down here somewhere, and it's 101, map 101,
Okay, wait a minute.
46.
Well, hold on.
And this one, we have to ask ourselves whether we want to sell it, whether we think it should be.
What is that?
This is 101.
Oh, that one, oh, sure.
This one I have a notation extremely steep. And
And it's an undersized lot, so the question becomes, do you want to
it's
Just
0.44
offer.
acres.
just offer it to abutters, or do you want to put
Well,
it for auction?
and that's the one that's on Merry Meeting Lake. Now, if I'm not mistaken, does that butt up against another one?
Well, there's a back lot there, probably. I'm not sure.
Well, there was one that had the back lot and a little sliver.
That may be this one. Next one down.
101.
Well, the back lot, the sliver goes with this.
Next one down. 25, 26.
No, the sliver,
yeah,
no,
but
the
you-
sliver doesn't go with this.
101, what did I say, 101?
46.
Sliver is usually a right of way.
Yeah,
146.
but this isn't the
Oh, I guess
sliver
that's the
one.
lake lot then.
Yeah, this is a lake lot and it's 0.44 acres.
Yeah.
Now, is that billable?
I have my doubts.
Depends on the steep slope.
It's very-
Size-wise, you could do it, but depends on steep slope and all that.
Well, this is,
So I think that's also the one the auctioneers all have their eyes on.
yeah, this is, I said extremely steep, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the, yeah, this is the one that has the neighbors. He has lot 45, 44, and 43, his driveway goes up to North Shore on lot 43. And then his road goes through lot 43, 44, and 45. And then this one, and his homes are all on 45.
But how comfortable do you feel about selling it, my comfort zone would be whether it's a buildable lot or whether it should go with somebody else if they want.
Well, this is the one I said, my little notation said, this would be a good one if you wanted, this gentleman here wanted to buy this as an abutter.
Yeah, okay, so you'd rather have as a butter lot.
And-
I mean, sell it to an abutter.
Well, and that's what we talked about
For a
before.
discount.
Can we do that legally? Can we go to
Oh, yeah.
a butter and say, we're only selling to you?
We did that last time.
And not put it out in the auction?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, then,
What, just so we're clear, what we did last time is we treated all the properties the same. I'm not sure if you don't treat all the properties the same legal advice applies.
We offered them to abutters.
All of them. So, because we treated all the properties the same, that was the advice we got, is that
I don't
you
remember
could
that.
sell it, yeah,
I don't
no
remember that
question,
advice.
no question.
They
If
have-
you single out a property treating differently than others to use special sale, it may still apply, but I would want legal advice on that.
well, this
before I
is
proceed.
why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Do we sell this but notify the abutter saying we're gonna do this open?
Well, you're
bid?
probably gonna notify the abutters, actually, I think both, at least the first auctioneer, I'm sure the second one has too,
Right.
notifying the abutters on all of that.
Right.
I questioned the process we were doing. I ended up being told, I don't have the documents on that, I have to go dig them out, or make it easy just to ask again, that you can do it any way you want, as justice may require. Now, I felt it was, we made exceptions and said, on these small lots, and said, and offer them to the abutters first, before they went up for auction. That's not treating everybody the same.
Well, that's my point.
We did treat everybody the same.
Well, that's,
That's what we did.
You know-
I don't know where your
Not
advice is coming
everybody-
from, but that's what we did.
well, okay, it's very discriminatory, let me put it that way.
That's why we're
We
talking
weren't.
about.
You may have been, but we weren't.
Well, you're not, when you only offer it to the abutters.
Well, that's why-
Discriminating against everybody else who might want
Because we treated all the properties equally, it was not.
Okay, now we're talking about what we're doing now. How do we want to
Right.
do it now?
And that's my question. We have been doing the undersized lots, with some exception, which was the one that had a shell on it in Copper Crown,
Right?
and saying, we're not gonna sell them. We're not gonna jump in and sell them, we're going to, try to get them, see if butters want them first, and then consider we want to put them up for sale or not.
I don't think this is an undersized lot. I think the issue here is steep slope.
Well, it's undersized also.
I don't think so.
I don't think you can subdivide a lot, if that's.
Nobody's
that's
subdividing,
0.44.
you could build on the lot.
Well, that's what we can generally consider undersized, substandard.
Well, I mean, the lots next to it are about the same size. The next one where he has two structures on it is .50 acres. The next one to that is .46.
Right.
The one next to
That's what
that
I'm
is
saying.
.41.
It's not a question of undersized lot. I think the
So
issue
this
on
is
this particular lot
.44.
is steep slope.
Right. And how you build on a steep slope with the.
Well, the town has regs
With
for
the
that.
regs.
Towns has regs for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So the buyer buys as is, so.
I would certainly warn them if I was.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
And that's my point. We don't want to mislead anybody and saying, we're selling this with the idea that it's going to be a buildable lot. I don't think we should do that.
But I only pointed out to you because you've taken all these others and gave a reason, a condition. You said, well, these are substandard lots, I don't want to sell them at the auction.
That's right.
So I'm just pointing out that this, do you want to make an exception for these too?
Well, I'm asking, can we do that?
Oh, yeah, because your law is right here.
Oh, yeah, I have that, yeah.
As justice may require.
Yeah.
So if you feel justice may require, it's pretty wide open. And that's what the legal counsel ended up telling us in the end. Pretty much do whatever you want.
And so how do the three of us want to do this then?
Well, it's 2 out of 3 actually. So whatever you feel comfortable with.
Well, that one, if we can sell it, I think we should sell it.
Okay.
So now the question comes, do we do it for the auction? And then the abutter could be notified saying it's going to be to the open auction?
Well, if you sell to an abutter, generally you sell it at a discount. Less than what somebody else might pay for it. Okay, because they are going to merge it into their property.
Well, and that would be the restriction I'd put on the sell.
The beauty of it is.
You have to merge it.
you got a pretty tender lake up there. If somebody can put something in there,
Oh, they're going to.
and, yeah, from what I've seen,
Yeah.
yeah. So you may be improving the town by merging with someone else's lot, dividing it between the two other people.
Right.
But you'd want them to get something for it, I would think. Otherwise,
Well, that's right.
peanuts.
Okay. So the one that I have, this is, I say extremely steep. I walked it, so, and it is. So are we going to say we're gonna do that by auction, or we're gonna do that by a butter?
My preference has been by about a substandard, at least by any great degree. And the lake is a very sensitive area, so I guess I'll be on the side of trying to protect the lake and not
Right,
selling it for house lot,
right.
or possibly as house lot. So that's where I am on it.
Well, here's the question. If we offer it to the abutters in advance, and they turn it down, then do we want to open it up for the auction?
Well, that'd be your next question.
Or do we want to leave it as a green space?
Yeah.
You know, so we're not overbuilding on the lake.
I don't think this lot has gone before the Conservation Commission like we did before.
Yeah,
These lots.
yeah,
Before we went to them and asked them.
that's right.
Look at these various lots and tell us whether,
And I did that last year to a lot of the Copper Crown, and they said they didn't want to get
this is
involved.
these are new ones that just came up, I
Right,
believe.
right.
Okay. Then you're saying pass on it for now?
Well, no, I'm saying offer to the abutters first,
Yeah.
and then let's see, when's planning and
Conservation?
well, yeah, conservation, when are their meetings coming up, you know?
I think until October 3rd, maybe is planning. Conservation,
Conservation's the last Tuesday of the month.
last Tuesday.
And planning's the first.
So,
third
so we could put this one in at
Oh,
the
yeah,
end of the
so
month,
There'll be another planning board meeting on the
this month.
20th.
Okay, so let's do a list of the ones that we think should go to the conservation and planning. That might be steep,
So-
might be this, and have them take a look at
So
it
if
and
we're
give
gonna
us a
go through
report.
that, if we're gonna go through that process, which I thought all these had, but I guess they had not.
Well, they had done some last year, I asked them to, but some of these are new this year.
Okay, so if in fact that's the case, and you take that off, then we'll be involved in this auction. No, timeliness
Timeliness.
will not work.
We're trying to squeeze too much time in this one.
Yeah, you've got about 10 days to get these to the market.
Yeah, so that, okay, all right. So this one, let's see, so we won't, this will be at a butter.
Okay.
Oh, wait, let me mark it down so we have it. 101.
A butter after conservation.
No, I mean, if, I'm sorry, I don't see 101. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is, 101 North Shore. Sell butter question mark.
That and the next one down, both of those would be very substandard lots.
Okay, so
What's the next one down, what's lot number?
it's 108, 25.
And it's also 26 in it, which is that sliver goes down to the lake.
But it has a piece behind it, but it's steep. Here's 108. This is
Yeah,
108.
that's your bar of gold.
That's why I say the auction,
Yeah, I think it
the
is.
auctions, both auctioneers have those two properties as
That's
the
what
one
those-
that's gonna attract
That's what those
to the
guys are
auction. You
holding.
take those off,
You see what you got here for
you haven't got
value?
much.
But then-
One of them's at $172,000. That'd be a nice chunk of change, I think.
Yep.
But
You don't really think someone's gonna pay that, do you?
I don't think anybody will pay that. but like a taxable.
But that's one you could put as a minimum if you wished.
But to me, it's about the sensitivity of the lake. No?
Well, this one, again, this is, across the road is very steep, and of course wooded, and it's, it's 0.42 acres, which almost all those are running that across the road. And then it has the sliver for access to the water. We can't promise that these are buildable lots then.
No, maybe they'll put a boat slip in though. Might have value as a boat slip to somebody.
Well, that's true. Well, I think we should go ahead and sell this one then.
Which one?
This is the 108, 25.
That's the back lot. They both would have boat slip
Okay,
possibilities.
yeah, this is 108, 25. We have sell to abutters, but I think if this is a possible one to sell, I think we should sell it.
Well, they're all possible to sell.
Well, yeah, but, okay, so, I want people to make sure that when we do these, it's as is, and we're not guaranteeing them that they're buildable lots.
Both auctioneers made. had
Call
that
by and
statement.
beware.
Well, you're talking,
That's
Both
fine.
auctioneers made the statement.
well, I'll tell you right
Okay.
now, that is, you're talking about now 108.25, right?
Yeah,
That's very
25
likely
to
to build a
26.
lot if you can get your driveway in.
Well,
I've
that's,
seen some pretty steep
yeah,
driveways.
yeah. It's just if,
Okay, so you want to sell that one,
yeah, let's sell that one.
but not the one before, right? The one-
Well, the one before it is all by itself, it's steep. And, if we could sell to the abutter, that would be the way to go.
Mhm. Well, it's a very substandard lot, it's only 6/10 of an acre.
So, all right, so let's sell 108, 25. I was comfortable with that to begin with. And we're gonna let all the butters know that these are for sale, is that correct?
Well, no, before you didn't.
No, I'm just saying, let them know that they're for sale, so if they want to get into the auction,
Oh, yeah.
they can.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so you got
Okay.
that one now.
So we're gonna sell that one.
I'm not looking to incur any expense for the town of New Durham.
Well, at least the first auctioneer, I believe the second one has that too, have specifically noted that they would notify all abutters of all properties as part of their marketing.
It's a lakefront. Why do you guys sell a lakefront property? That's ridiculous. And why are you mimicking me? Why are you mocking me? You're a jack.
Don't make,
You're a jack.
yeah, where are you?
Okay, so, all right, so we're gonna do 101-46 is gonna be, not sell, but go to the abutter. Well, that's my position. Where's everybody else? Swinton over there smirking like crazy.
I'm not smirking, I'm just laughing at how many times you have to walk through this thing. This is the fourth time we've walked through it.
Well,
There are no new decisions here, guys, come on.
I did my homework 2 weeks ago, and you weren't prepared.
Really,
Yeah, you didn't have this
I
information.
don't have it tonight either.
And then this thing was handed to me tonight.
No, sir.
Well,
This thing was handed to me tonight.
Well, that's fine.
all right, where are you now?
And you haven't said anything about these. Are you gonna jump in and help us on this, or are you just gonna sit there and?
I think
But you
he's-
already have my information, actually, before this.
Yeah, he's already going to sign off on most of it.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I know all of it.
I've been trying to help you, but as I said, how many times do you have to go through this stuff?
Well, I wanna be cautious and careful to do this.
You had 2 months to do that.
And then pull the trigger on this. I'm talking about pulling the trigger. Once we get this done, all we have to do is decide between two guys, and
I
that's
was
it.
ready to do this 2 years ago, but both of you
Come on,
decided not
come
to
on,
do this.
we're arguing.
Come on, guys.
Arguing.
Wait a minute.
Move on.
We're here now. Let's get this done.
Yeah.
Let's get this
I'm
done.
all for that.
Okay, all right, I appreciate that. Okay, so where are we? Let's see, we're now
I
on,
just appreciate both of you changing your positions.
okay, where are we now then? Which one do you want to talk
I think
about now?
you said you're ready to go with 108.25,
That's right,
but not 101.45, okay?
46.
46, excuse me, yes. All right, so the next one, we have.
Is that accurate? What you said?
That's accurate.
Okay.
All right, next one we have is 250-104,
okay.
Birch Hill. That's an empty lot.
What's the map number?
250.
Okay, 250, this is on Birch Hill.
Yeah.
This is a 1.88, almost 2 acres.
It's a full-size lot.
Yeah.
It's not substandard.
No, that's right.
So I think we've all agreed to sell that.
Let's see, I have sell. So this is 250. 104, 250, 104, sell. So, okay, all right, so that's done.
You're all set with that?
Yeah,
So, okay.
yeah.
The next one would be 13 Birch Hill Road. What are we doing with that?
Oh, wait, what's the map number?
250, 111. It's 250, that's...
I'd recommend on that.
That's the one that has
it's about-
potential swap opportunity.
I think you just use that and put it in the group of abutter, because that's.
It is a substandard lot, it's very substandard. But it does have a mobile home on it, so we said, well, we probably don't want to
Right.
tear down a mobile home nor fix one up.
Wait, isn't this the one that, yeah, this is the one we can't put on yet.
Well,
Well,
we can, but...
we could, but we already have
We had-
a potential for this one.
So
It
we're
doesn't
saying
have to go
we're
on.
not gonna...
So we're gonna hold
We're
on
gonna treat
this.
this as a butter one right now,
Okay,
all right?
and that's not, what is the number again on that?
The lot number, you mean? Or the map number?
Map number, please.
250, 111.
250, 111.
Yep, you got it right there.
250, 111, okay, so we're going to, yeah, town swap, okay, all right.
All right.
Okay, what's next?
The next one is, I think you put it down to move, which was Tash Road, which is a 1.2 acres of mostly swamp.
What's the map number, please?
252,070. Your paper is 70 right here.
Is that the court?
Oh, this is, this is the one that
On Tash Road.
we're not gonna be able to sell.
11 Tash Road?
This is wetlands with hacked hills.
So you want not sell this? then?
No, this, wait, yeah, we can't sell this one.
Okay, that's right, you did have that.
Yeah.
So, all right, the next one is 116 Ridge Road. That has a,
Well, wait,
that's the
we'll
very
mark it
last one
off now.
on your paper.
Let me mark it off. 252, 252 Tash Road, wetland, okay? Okay, what's the next one you want to do?
The last one you got there on your list.
260?
Yep, Ridge Road, which is map 260.
260-10?
Okay, 260, oh, this is 2 acres, this is a good one.
Well, it's a house one, too.
Yeah.
Not very good shape.
No, this is the greenhouse and the garage.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'd say sell that baby.
All right.
Okay.
I think that completes our list.
No, I still have some more.
You do?
There's a
Okay,
couple
well,
other ones I had written down here, so.
So far, we only have 7 properties.
So I got,
That's all I had.
So,
no, we got
the other
209.
one, 209068, which you had, that's in Copple Crown, you had an abutter who expressed interest in the property.
But that would be in a butter. We're talking about the auction now.
Well, we're talking about everything.
I need to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, we need to know what to do on this one. So it's
This
209, 209,
2968,
68.
I believe is,
Abutter?
yeah, that's a substandard lot, so if we can get a butter that's interested to buy it, that's what we want to do. And then we do, don't we?
Here it is.
What's that?
And we do have it a butter.
Yeah, he sent an email saying that he expressed an interest.
It
in
has
it.
it has a right of way that goes up through the middle.
It does, I see
Right.
it.
Goes into the other lot out behind it.
Yeah,
Right there,
yeah, it goes way off to
yeah.
off of blueberry
Yeah,
fields.
yeah. So if you can get the butter to do that one, that's fine.
Yeah, I wrote down. for-
Okay, all right.
So, okay, is there any others we want to
The
consider
other
for
one I
auction?
got
had
a couple
was 206 dash, in other words, map 206, lot 23. That's a
I
real
got-
small, little
Yeah,
tiny, and it
that's-
had a cemetery in it.
I got that one, and that one I marked,
It does have a cemetery in it or right near it?
That's what it
so I
said.
have
No, the
wooded and
the
small.
cemetery is up and back of it.
Here it is. Oh, you got it, right there.
This is completely surrounded, well, not, there's a road in front of it, and the Peter English homes all around it.
Which is .14 acres.
Yes, to me, it
A butter?
offered to the, a butter, or
Yeah.
That-
Though I wouldn't care if it went up for auction, no. No way you're gonna get anything. Well, I take it back. I don't think you can get anything on that. I'm sure you wouldn't want a house on it, I wouldn't think, or,
But you couldn't put a house
I
on it.
don't think it fit.
It's not big enough.
well, you know, what, down here in town, there was a time, a couple years ago, that people would have 50-foot wide lots.
The only other one I had was map 234.
Wait a minute, I'm still working on these now. 206. 23, and that one is a wooded lot, small, we're not gonna sell, correct?
Which one?
Butter.
Unless the butter wants it.
Yeah, about
Okay.
80 by 80 lot.
Okay.
Then the other one that I had checked off, which was map 234,
I got it.
69.
Yeah. And I have that one, it's at the end of the road doesn't go to it, and I say offer to a butter only.
Which one is that?
That's this one right
You
here.
get the map?
Yeah, right there.
Oh, okay, that's very, yeah, it's a very small lot up in Grove.
Yeah,
Grove,
it's
which is up
.43.
towards- Up and back, between Chalk Pond and the Class 6 road there. This is the top of private
0.43
road.
acres.
You're right. Hmm?
It's 0.43 acres.
Yeah, so it's very undersized.
So
Substandard.
is that a butter or?
The
Yeah.
butter only, yeah.
We did have an offer on it last time, I think.
There it is, sell butter, okay, good.
So-
Then I have 250. And let's see, this one was a trade and this has a trailer on it.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the trade
You
one.
said you wanted
Yeah,
to do a butter on that.
yeah. Okay.
So I have
then-
five to offer to a butters. And one of those 5 happens to be the one that's over here off
Oh,
of
Birch,
Birch Hill.
yeah.
And then I have, looks like one to be held to the wetlands.
That, is that something, did you say we can sell that to their, does conservation have some money, don't they?
Yeah, I don't
So they could buy that,
Could-
get it off the tax record and make a green
The
slice.
town can just take it,
Yeah,
I didn't hear what you said.
own it for conservation. As far as the town taking it, making a conservation
On what?
on that piece on Tash, if in fact it's all wetlands.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that. We can, and we should consider moving properties off the tax deed rolls that doesn't sell, or that we don't want to sell, onto the regular town property. Okay, you can do that. And that way, it can still be sold, but it has to be sold through town meeting.
okay, now wait a minute, I have 253. Oh yeah, this is the one where the two abutters want it.
Yeah. I mean,
So what are we gonna do, talk to the abutters first?
253?
Yeah. This is,
taking it off may also require a town meeting.
Hmm?
Taking it off may also require a town meeting.
Take it off. It does,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, 253.30 is a sell.
yeah.
Okay,
I have 7 that are so far at auction. I
correct.
have 4 to a butters and 1 potential land swap.
That's what my town used to.
4,
And if you get time on land swap,
5,
we'll throw it in.
6.
If it
Far-
doesn't
you know,
materialize.
There are 2 things to consider here, guys. One is that it's far different than 13 that both auctioneers were going after, number 1. And number 2 is that you've taken off at least 1, if not more, of some of their prime attractive properties to go after. So
The one
I'm
on
sure
North-
I'm sure you want comments from both of them on the new list.
So you talk about the one on North Shore?
Well, I'm talking the difference between 13 and 6, first of all, and then North Shore is one of them, but I think
What's
there
seven?
may be others in that 5 remaining that were probably attractive too.
Well, you want to talk about it?
I don't know which their viewpoint is. I think they're gonna have to see the new list, and they're gonna have to make a comment whether they still hold the same position that it's worthwhile.
Well, are there any of these that we've talked and say we're going to sell? Is there any that we said, we're going to contact the butters? Is there any of those that are going to the butters that you want to immediately open up to the auction?
Yeah, I would go all of them, but because the butters have the opportunity to bid. the abutters, for the most part, there are a couple that were new this year, but for the most part, abutters have already had a chance to go after them. But again, I'm going to work for everything that we can on this. If the 7 are what we have now for auction, fine, let's see what the auctioneers have to say on those 7, and hopefully they have a similar position. The difference here is that, you know, they're spending marketing money. One of them said 3,500. I don't know what the other one was. Probably roughly the same. Roughly the same. I don't know if that amount of marketing is going to be whether there's 7 properties, 13 properties, or 100 properties. So you need to have a comment back from the auctioneer
Now, if you know which,
on that situation.
you know which auctioneer you'd like to go with. No preference?
Well, as I said, the only differentiator, more or less, major differentiator, maybe it's a better phrase, that I saw was one is an online approach versus one more traditional approach. So,
What's your preference?
well, what are the advantages of each? You know, you go through what are the advantages of each. The online scenario, he presented a good case for online scenarios, there's no question. By his own admission, though, all the bidding happens the last hour, which is more or less the same thing that happens on site. So I'm not sure at the end of the situation whether that is
Right.
any difference.
It is different because you don't have to be there.
I understand that. I understand that.
Presence matters. Whereas you can
But all the actions in the
pick
last
up your
hour.
iPhone and make, you can
Yeah.
pick up an iPhone and make a bid.
Yeah. All the actions
You
in the
can-
last hour.
You could do it from the wedding you're at or something.
Do you think there's some people that are a dinosaur that won't get on, but they come to an auction?
People, in my opinion, most of the people in this business who are looking for investment properties know all the tricks. I don't think you're gonna, in my opinion.
Well, I thought that was a clever idea. You know, to go online and start the bidding, you know, a week before.
I mean, they're both both reputable companies.
Yeah.
They've been used statewide by
Yeah.
many municipalities. I think that, you know, I actually was pretty intrigued by McGinnis' presentation relative to his proposal as far as having that opportunity for MLS,
Yeah.
which then broadens your ability. Now,
Right.
not that we have any, you know, we're not down on the seacoast and have properties up and down there, but, you know, there is one property now that's up on the lake. There's a couple others, the one up there in Copper Crown, and a couple of the other ones. I could see that they could probably put on that listing. They're not gonna put them all on there, because I'm sure there's an expense probably
Right.
involved in that situation there. But I personally, I also think it's nice that people can do that remotely. I think it also, you know, I mean, the old traditional way of going to an auction, I think has got some nostalgia to it, but on the other side of things, sometimes people don't want to be bidding against their neighbor and have any types of personal issues.
Business is business,
Well, some people are in that arena.
probably not in business very long.
Well,
Sorry.
All right, Greg, I heard you lean towards
Paul.
the online one,
Yeah, that's what,
and I haven't heard you lean any way. Or would you like to?
Well, again, for me, there are advantages both. I think St. Jean has been probably more thorough in terms of his approach. So I might favor St. Jean.
St. Jean, you think you favor?
Well, I like St. Jean guys, but I like this idea of going online.
Yeah.
And if they could come here, maybe at the town hall last hour, the last couple hours,
I know it's gonna work.
it won't work that way.
No,
So
if
it's
you're
all
online- if you're
online.
Yeah, if you're online, you're
I
online.
don't know, not necessarily. The auction I went to was, they let people come online too at that time.
Well, you can come online, but there are no advantages to be at the town hall at the last hour.
Yeah. So I feel I'd like to try the online with the MLS listing, which would be beginners. And it sounds like that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's a clever idea. I don't have any numbers on that, how successful they are, but it sounds like they do it often enough. And people are geared up to do that kind of stuff now with eBay and all these other things, so
All right.
I think we should give it a shot.
Guess it's consensus to go in that direction, Scott.
Okay. Well, I think you need a
With those
formal,
seven.
I think you need a formal motion, really.
Well, wait a minute, we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Did we decide to put reserves on these or not?
Oh, I'm gonna say not, but whatever you want. You have ones.
So, you know, the one that we had today said absolute would be the best way to go because you get more interest.
Both of them had said that.
Yeah, so I'd be comfortable with that. I don't see,
Okay, Swens, how about you?
Well, if you were going to do it, I would only do it one or two properties, one of which you pulled off, which would have been the North Shore. For me, that would have required a minimum. The one across the street on North Shore, it doesn't have anywhere near the value, but the rest of them, probably not.
All right, Swens has given his position, maybe the one across the street, but others no. How about the one across the street?
And I'm not saying even that one, I'm just saying that one.
I just,
Is the only
across the
one.
All right, you're
board.
still on absolute, okay.
Yeah.
I'm staying with absolute.
Yeah.
Just want everybody to get a chance to speak their piece. I think we're ready to go.
Yeah,
You want to vote on that, Scott, or are we all set with consensus?
I think we should do a vote.
Yeah, I would do it.
All right.
I do a motion for the auctioneering firm and with the 7 properties that we've discussed, and that it's absolute.
Do we need to list them, or can you just pick those out to 7? You know what the 7 are, don't you?
Yes. And I think we can memorialize it if you want, but
Well,
I think we've discussed them enough so we know we can put it in.
Well, I'm gonna tell you my feeling on the one that we talked about, talking to the abutter on North Shore. If you call him up and he says, I don't want it, then I'd say put it for sale.
I disagree myself.
You think that's just too steep?
Well, my
I think
issue
we
is,
need, sorry. Okay.
my issue is substandard lots and going forward with these, especially on any kind of steepness, it's a matter of pollution. That's what these things were put together back in a day when it wasn't required to have 1.88 acres and try to keep the density down. It pushes the density up. At some point, you could be required to put in a sewage system, that sort of thing. That's why I've been trying to move away from substandard lots, any opportunity we get.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to pollute that lake, it's such a pristine lake. So
Yeah,
if we're
that
gonna,
makes it even more sense.
if we err one way or the other, we wanna err on preserving,
Yeah.
yeah. So, all
So it
right,
wouldn't hurt my feelings if there wasn't another house put up there.
Okay, so on that one, we'll just call the abutter and see if he wants it, and if not, we will put it on.
All right, I'll make a motion to use Paul McInnes auctioneers to sell tax deeded properties per the list. You get the list, Scott?
Yes.
You want to put that into the motion, or?
Properties being map 250 dash lot 104.
Okay, when you're going to a different.
I'm gonna read it off my list because I have it right here.
Okay, is that the same as this one?
I don't know.
I'll check it as he reads
But
it.
I've been writing.
I'll check it
down-
as he reads it.
do you have this list?
No, I have the list we went through tonight.
Well, while we're all checking, let's just do it again, map what again?
Map 250, lot 104, Birch Hill Road, 1.88 acres.
This map lot's fine.
Okay,
Next one is map 216, Lot 4. Next one is map 210, Lot 78. Next one is map 108, lots 25 and 26.
Oh, excuse me, what was that?
25, 26.
25, 26,
108.
Oh, 108.
108.
Yeah.
Next one is map 253, lot 30. Next one is map 260, lot 10. And the last one is lot 267, I'm sorry, map 267, lot 23. That should be a seven properties to sell, correct?
All right, that's a motion. I have a second.
And
Oh, and to sell it, absolute. Do I have a motion?
I'll second. Is that your motion?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All right, Greg Anthony seconds it. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All right.
Although
Unanimous.
but I would like to note that said I think St. Jean may be a little more thorough.
I'm sorry, what?
I think St. Jean might have been a little bit more thorough, but we'll see how it goes.
That brings us,
Just as a quick follow-up to Scott,
Well,
you should
did Jean's-
notify them, McGinnis, I guess, only, at this stage, since the motion is carried, that there are only these 7 properties, and make sure that he still has the same proposal and all that kind of stuff. We'll do the same marketing, et cetera, et cetera. That's all. And that is a
I'll
concern.
reach out to him in the morning and
you will.
I'll send it to Paul.
Yeah.
I'll send it to Justin first, let him know that he was a selected company.
With the
to go
listing,
with,
now
because
there
of
are
the
only
revised
7
list.
properties, and here's
These are
the
the 7 properties. and make
Does the
sure
same proposal apply?
If he still feels the same.
But I didn't see Gene, as much as I like him and everything, and I think he's a very good company, I didn't see him talk about this online thing.
As I said, there are 2 different approaches.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know that you couldn't, but they chose to do 2 different approaches.
Right. Okay.
All right, next business is the town administrator's report.
Okay, a couple items just for informational purposes is that the gentleman who we gave a conditional offer of employment to, Jameson Young from Stratford for a full-time police officer, has in fact signed the conditional offer the following day. I'm sorry, 2 days later. We met, I did the conditional up. He has signed that. and
31st.
I have given that to the chief, and they will begin to do his background. The 2-week vetting period is not up until next Monday. So it won't be until the 19th that we actually have our meetings.
Then he would not be able to get into this, well, this has already started.
Yeah. he
So
would
he'd be
able to
going
go to
in
January.
January.
Correct.
Now, are we going to do this like we did that other officer? Unfortunately, that other officer pulled out. Are we going to get him in a couple months early and start training, start working with him?
That would be the intention, once we make sure we've got him secured a so-called spot. He still has to do his physical agility test.
Right.
But they have 60 spots that they line people up. There's already, from carryover from this academy, already 35 of those slots as of, last Monday.
35 are left?
There's 35 were already taken, so there's
Taken.
only 25 left.
Okay.
So it's first come, first serve as to how you come in that pecking order.
So we need to move right along on this then.
Yeah, I mean, the chief keeps checking on it and seeing where we're at, but he's got to do a background and
Well, I understand.
get that secured.
But he can do that within a week or 2, you think?
He hopes to, I mean, that way, but I don't know exactly what his timeframe will be. I figured it would take him the rest of this month, and it'd probably be sometime first part of October before potential hire.
But we're saying once
We would
he,
do field training ahead of the academy.
right, but once he's passed his physical, once he's done the background check and passed that, then at that point, we can go ahead and pull the trigger to get him into the academy in January, correct?
Right.
All right, what else you got, Scott?
Let's see, the other thing was, in the packet was the technology services, request for proposals. Put that together, and that has been sent out to firms. I believe there was a total of, I don't think I put the list in here, but there was, I believe, 6 or 7. I've heard back from a couple of them already, and one of them said that he could not bid in that time frame just because of his workload right now, but if we had to extend it, he would be willing to bid, but he just didn't
Our
have
current
time.
vendor is bidding, right?
Correct. Yep, and he's expressed interest.
So how much, like, shoot, how much time is on the,
Basically, is about, I put in here for the
October
bids.
4th, I thought, or something.
What?
The-
I didn't see
The bids
it.
are actually due the 15th of
15th.
September.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
the
we
current
have to-
contract is through October.
Our contract is through October
I mean, the period time to get the bid,
15th. They have until the 15th,
September?
yes.
And where do you see that on? I didn't see it on the front
It's on the
page.
second, third page.
Third page?
Well, 2 o'clock.
I did notice there's a lot of computers.
Yeah. So we've provided them an
So on
inventory.
that page is 2. I got page 1, I got page 3.
You gotta love photocopying. You got nobody to blame but myself, Greg.
Well, I don't
do my own
I don't want
photocopy.
Yeah, packet doesn't have page 2,
But I have a complete package.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or if you just want to shoot off page 2 and stick it in my mailbox.
we're all in the same, we're all in the same boat there.
You don't have 2 either?
but, no, it wasn't in the packet.
Probably.
So nobody had page 2?
But your report had the information of when the bids were due and then,
On page 3, yeah.
no, there's, this,
Yeah, it was in the,
it was in here.
Oh, yeah.
okay. The other,
There's,
So- Sorry.
are you networking? When we were on MetroCast, I know there was fiber optic put between here and the buildings. And I don't know if it went out to the, I don't think it did, but there was talk of it going out to the highway department.
Not yet.
It didn't happen?
Don't think so.
I just say,
I
may
didn't even
want,
know what was between the buildings.
when Allison was here, she saw to it that some of this got done.
Oh, good.
So you may want to look back into that. Good thing to tell you. I'll tell you that.
The other thing, by the way, while we're on that, 2 things. One is that, how many bids do you expect from this, Scott, did you say?
I sent it out to, I believe it was either 6 or 7 vendors.
So you
They were within
you
the-
might expect 3 or 4.
That's what I mean, I'd like to see. If we didn't get, I'd like to see at least 3 come back out of that group.
Plus our current guy.
Well, that's
That would
including.
Oh, in the 3.
The other thing that, on a semi-related note to the network side, one of the agreements with TDS for their franchise agreement was that they would carry public television, specifically our channels. In fact, I think, based on what I understand Peter to say, actually at the school board meeting, was that New Durham has its own channel, potentially.
Yeah.
What I don't see yet is action from TDS on making sure that the Durham TDS subscribers have that public access. Could you do a follow-up and ask
Yeah,
where
I'll
that
find out.
stands?
I know that they were working on that.
Yeah.
Things may be difficult now because with the television station in their current situation.
I mean, I don't think that should be a problem.
Well, I don't
I
know. You know, Ryan was involved in that.
No, I understand that, but Peter
But I'll find
Peter
out.
was very much
Yeah.
aware of it. I don't
Yes.
anticipate, I don't think it's on the television side as being the issue. I think it's on TDS making sure they have
I'll be
the
talking
connectivity.
with TDS as well relative to all the town buildings, relative to the phone service and networking service as well, relative to that. So I'll have a conversation with them. The other piece to the report is basically in regards to the employee luncheon. And I'd like to make a request, that's for the employee appreciation luncheon, which will, I think before I previously indicated, we were looking at September 14th. That did not work, day after elections. And so we went back out, and now it looks like September 22nd will work. And I would like to ask permission to close all non-essential offices at 12 noon.
What date do we
for
have that?
purpose. 22nd.
I won't
It's a
be here.
Thursday. And big wedding.
You're not an employee anyway.
Well,
but I-
technically he may be.
Well, yeah, but I always like to
Gets-
support
he
our
gets
employees
money from
Oh,
the
I
town.
and be there for them.
Yeah,
As do you, as do I.
Well,
maybe
that's
you could write something up, and you'll be glad to read it, on the other hand, if you want to put something together,
Okay, this is.
if you can't be there.
Well, maybe I can move this thing around, which this has been out for 2 months, so I don't know if I can change
We're
it.
looking at 12 noon for the rest of the day, basically.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we've put together, having a barbecue lunch happen. If the weather's good, we'll do it at the, down at the ball field, down there, and then from there, we'll do some other group dynamic exercises down there, and team building and that kind of stuff.
Who's actually physically organizing
It's
this?
a Thursday.
Well, I'd like to take all the credit for it, but I can't, as Jen basically has done a considerable amount of work as far as putting things together. We've put together the awards list and then put out.
And the little gifts and stuff?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
And did you figure out all the food yet?
yes, yeah.
What's it gonna be? Did you decide?
Well, I had to flip a coin because I was the deciding person and I didn't want to be ruled as being the person, so I flipped the coin and it turned out to be barbecue.
Well, isn't that funny?
Chicken and.
That's what you
pork.
marked down here.
Yeah, I did mark that down, yeah, but I flipped the coin. and
Yeah, right.
It was a witness.
How many times did you flip the coin?
No, I only did it once,
Okay, all right.
so.
And where are they gonna buy it? I mean, how is that physically gonna happen? Who's gonna buy the supplies? Are you gonna have the charcoalers out there? And
No, it's gonna be brought right to the site.
so you're gonna,
We'll set it up on the tables, we'll be all,
so you're gonna have someone cater this?
yeah.
Okay, so we don't have
It'll all
that
come in
work.
trays and then
Okay.
we'll
all right.
divvy it up.
Do you know who's the caterer gonna be?
I think Jen's got it nailed down.
Okay, all right.
She's great at that.
Now that'll ease it up a little bit.
You're looking for some approval, you so have my
Yes.
recommendation to do that.
What
It
is
is being moved.
shutting down? You said non-essentials. I think it's what you said here.
Well, the
And
the
what does
police
the-
department and the fire department couldn't shut down. You know, in other words, they have to be on call or.
Yeah, it says request to close non-essential offices, so I'm trying to sort that out. And then we don't
Yeah.
have any control over the town clerk's office, right? That's the town
No,
clerk's call.
I guess you would make that decision.
So I wouldn't want to be, you know, if somebody comes up from Massachusetts, get their, something,
Car inspected or.
pay their
registered.
taxes or something like that.
She would have to put a note up under her signature that she's gonna close for the afternoon.
Well, you could post it
For the-
on the
for the-
website well
Oh,
in
yeah,
advance,
we
so.
would put everything, well, that's why I'd like to try to get it up.
Well, I'm just trying to sort out what the selectmen are responsible for closing up or not having work that afternoon.
I would say it's everybody but the elected department.
And with this,
Police department has to be on call, fire department has to be still left on call. I mean, granted, those are on call, and the fire department's on call anyways, type of thing. But whoever's a scheduled police officer, you know, certainly they can come and join us if in fact it wasn't a call that was taking them away, type of thing there. Be happy to feed them and network them.
I think this is a good thing to do for employees.
I found it in the past to be more successful, in my opinion, to do it this way than to, and it has advantages both ways. We used to do a holiday dinner type of thing at the, you know, take people out and take their spouses, or not, we didn't
That's
take
what I
their
did.
spouses, but went out to a restaurant and
Right.
did it that way. And it was hard because it was around the holidays and it would
Right.
snow and the highway guys couldn't go and then they were bitter about it, so.
This is good. Okay.
You don't need it.
Do we need a vote or anything, or?
I'd like to,
Well, I'll make
I'd like to
the
have,
motion.
I'd like to have your support.
Okay, well,
I think I need to have that by a motion.
okay.
You got at least two of them, it sounds like.
That's because the people will be getting paid for the, while they're
That-
celebrating. Right?
I don't know if I guess you could say they were celebrating, but they're being forced to network with
They're
their
getting paid while they're
employees.
being appreciated.
It's appreciated, so.
Well, certainly appreciation right there.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and make the motion to approve the Employee Appreciation Luncheon on September the 22nd, 2016. This will start at 12 noon and will go through to the afternoon. Non-essential employees will be able to take the afternoon off with pay. And
That's not good wording. I don't think you want to say non-essential employees,
It is actually
well,
offices.
a term.
Yeah, no,
well, how do you want me to phrase it then?
I would say that
Exceptions being the police
Authorizing,
and fire?
authorizing the closing of non-essential offices and, yeah, which is fine. That's all I have to say.
Yep.
Okay. And let's see.
That'll do it.
Do we have to do anything about the request for funding for this or anything
No,
like
it
that?
was in the budget.
Okay, so, and it's under $3,000, right? or two?
Oh, yeah.
So you'll be able to do that. Okay, all right, well, that's my motion.
Well, with the modification of non-essential, I'll second it,
Yeah.
what you made during that motion. I'll second.
All right, Swan seconds that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 He came through it for us.
We'll try it.
I'd like to say I had the power of influence over you.
All three selectmen are aboard. That's good.
The only other thing that didn't appear on your agenda under the town administrator's report is just to advise you and make sure that, which I know that you have spoken in support of, is for me to file an extension with the L-CHIP office reference to the Meeting House grant. So that has to have another extension done. There was
Yeah.
one done in last fall, and you need to do another one so that the committee can review it. And I just basically put in there a chronology of the events that have transpired.
Yeah.
I have been in touch with by email with Steve Bedard. He will be up next week on-site and be working on his report. So hopefully we'll see
Do
that.
you know what date he'll be there on the
He
site?
did not say exactly what day yet.
Would you call me if you know?
As soon as I hear, I'll send it out to
Okay,
everybody.
thank you.
So, I'll send that out tomorrow, but I want to make sure that I advised you of that before I went ahead and did so.
You can just do that, right? The,
Well, I saw that the interim town administrator did it last time, so I assume that I can do it this time. So, I don't know.
actually, I did it.
I'm assuming you would work with the Meeting House committee's people just to make sure
Yeah, I
that
went,
they're
I
informed
did,
and all that.
actually, it was triggered by them saying, hey, just so you know, we need to do this before October. And I did share the letter with Kathy, just to make sure that it was gonna meet the needs of,
The letter came from who? The original
I
letter?
wrote the letter.
Oh, I think, who initiated?
She told me that the grant was gonna, we needed
She is
to,
who?
Kathy
Alan.
Allen.
Okay.
yeah, told me that it was, you know, I didn't have any dates or anything like that. So I found the letter that Carter did back in November of last year.
Okay. Gotcha. That's official. Okay.
So, that's pretty much it under my stuff, and I've got a litany of new business.
Yeah, abatements.
Abatements. You've got a series of them here. Most of those 3 abatements are a result of property owners who had filed with the BTLA group, Bureau of Tax and Lands for the state. And with that, when those filings happen, they request that this goes to mediation between the town and the town's assessor and to be reviewed. And that did transpire on these properties, at least these 3 properties initially, based upon those filings. And this town assessor has made recommendations on all 3 properties. I did sit in on 2 of them are owned by one owner, and one is owned by another owner. I did sit in on both of those mediation sessions as well as Laura.
Yeah, you see that Scott or not meeting, Jeff. It's interesting, one of them is also, we're gonna be pulling that one up later on, is a veteran, and he's gonna get a tax exemption for that, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, he had filed that quite a while ago.
Yeah, which is fine,
Should have been.
I'm glad we do that. But it's $500?
I believe that is what
Yeah,
veterans
that's what it said.
exemptions.
These are pretty much straightforward in that many of them went to the administration and were, either went there or were mediated because of what was anticipated to come from there. So these are pretty much straightforward.
Yeah, my
Right.
recollection was on one of the on 2 of the properties, let me back up. The one property owner that has 2 properties, he had had a previous decision that had occurred many, many years ago with the town, where it went to the Bureau of Tax and Lands, and a judgment was in fact made in that situation there. So that he held as some precedent. He did not have a new appraisal other than his abutting property neighbor, which is a land property, is 25% less.
This is considerable.
And his property actually is steeper. So,
Yeah.
Steeper than what we were talking about for the others?
2 is a butter. in that one. That is in reference to 108-48 and 108.
Well, it's 48-1 and
48-2. Yeah.
All right, unless somebody has anything to say, I'll start off with a motion to issue an abatement for 2015 property taxes on map 102, lot 16, in the amount of $1,231.50. Do I have a second?
Just quickly, where you reading from? Okay. There's 2 parts here. 1,282.80, you said? Is that what you said?
You mean the lot?
No, the amount.
$1,231.50.
That's not what this shows. It shows this amount. You may be missing
Oh,
the
you
interest.
know why?
You're missing
That's
the interest.
The
Yeah.
dollar amount.
The interest didn't get added on.
Yeah. So you want to rephrase
My
your motion?
bad. I didn't have the
Rephrase your
interest.
motion.
So the corrected amount is $1,282.80.
Right.
80?
Yeah.
80 cents.
That's what he has right
Of
here.
which,
Oh,
of
Sorry about that.
which $51.22 is interest. So you want to rephrase your motion?
yeah. Make a motion to issue an abatement for 2015 property taxes on map 102, lot 16, in the amount of $1,282.80. Second.
I'll second that.
All right, Greg seconds that.
Just
Any
quickly, I
further
think as a discussion, it should be noted that $51.22 of that amount is interest.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. That's unanimous.
You have signatures going here?
Yes, I'm
Scott?
gonna send that right around to you, gentlemen. And then if I can correct these other two, I can correct it. I've got the,
Well, we granted this,
that's
and they
correct.
want a signature and a date on that, correct?
The next motion, which is, that I have listed there for you, the corrected amount is $874.40.
Eight.
This is for map, give me a map lot.
Yeah, that'll
What's your
be
map lot?
108,
Okay,
48, 1.
Yep. $874.40 it should be.
And is that and 108, 48, 2? Is that correct?
Somewhere.
We're doing both of those?
Yeah,
They're together?
yeah, they're two, but they're two separate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
They've got listed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to take that.
Do we separate out the motion then?
Yes, yeah, separate.
You all set?
Here, we need to sign this back page.
That's only for one.
Oh.
There's
That's
two
correct.
different.
I have the other
Yeah.
dollar amount,
680, 60.
680, yeah, 60.
2 pages, apparently.
Yeah, one is a letter that goes through.
Yeah.
All right, let me get started then. I'll make a motion to issue an abatement for 2015 property taxes on map 108, lot 48-001, in the amount of $874.40.
It should be 874.40.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, does that add that interest onto that 874.40?
Yeah. 34.91 is interest.
Are we putting in the interest in these motions, or do we need to?
I'm making a note under comments, so the minutes will show the total of it. I'm just making it, that's why I said before, the interest was, of which the interest was.
Okay. Well, if you made that motion, I'll second it.
All right, Greg seconds that. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the interest of that amount that was total is $34.91. Just a quick comment before we get on to two here, though. On this particular one, this seems to me to be unusually large in terms of its valuation versus the abatement request and approval. Well, not this only, but 01 and 02, 48-1, 48-2.
I believe one of them is, I'd have to.
It's not as large as the other one, because I was really going to make a comment, but what I'm concerned about here is that,
Why is more?
and
one
I'm
more
actually,
than-
it's not so much on this one, it's not going to be on the next one,
Oh,
but I'm just saying that there are some questions that I have, given this information, about some of these abatement requirements that we needed. So what I would like to do, and I want to do it here, is get a full listing of all the abatements we've done since the revaluation. And I'd like to have a summary of that, perhaps at the next selectmen meeting, regularly scheduled.
what would you like to have in the summary?
You know, the map lot, The address is helpful too, i.e. the street. Original valuation, abated valuation, how much tax dollars it meant on an annual basis, and how much interest was the abatement, and then any comments.
Tax dollars you want, I assume just the town
On an annual,
tax.
yeah. No, actually, I'd like the total, I can divide up the total amount, because that's what we're dealing with here, it's a total amount, so. I'm sorry, Greg, what did you say?
Well, it'd be nice to see what the loss to the town's going to be. on
Well,
this.
that's what the total abatement is.
Right. I'm sorry, and you said you
That was
were-
the total abatement, yeah.
That's what you meant by the, okay.
But I'd like, the total abatements on tax dollar and the amount on interest dollars,
Yeah, okay,
not just the total.
right. You're separating now, okay.
Okay, you want tax and interest separated.
Yeah.
So, again, it's not so much on this one, it's the next one that, when I saw that in preparation for tonight, I said, something's
And
not right here.
so it's easy to read what the town's losing on these, they'll do.
That's the
total-
abatement.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if it was me, I'm gonna send this to somebody else to do, but
But you,
the way I would make sure that the formulas come out is that you take the original value, the abated value,
Right.
you find out what the difference is of
Right.
Right.
that value, because some went up, some went down, more went down.
Right.
And then you would be able to see what
Well,
the
What it
tax
is.
abated amount is,
Right,
that's what you want.
Right,
And then the interest,
right.
also with the interest.
that's right.
But I don't think there's any abatements that went up, was there?
I believe there actually was.
it's not denied, I don't know if they were not.
Denied, yeah.
Yeah, we had, I think there was about 6 of it.
Yeah, denied, you can put those at the
Those will
bottom of
all
the
be
list,
on
which
the
is fine, but in fact, that might be worthwhile to do, is put the denied ones at the bottom as a separate section, so we understand what other potential there was, but, okay? Sorry, but we can go on to number 2 now, but I wanted to make sure we had that.
See how,
I like that.
you like that?
Yeah.
My hieroglyphics. Now all you gotta do is remember them.
Okay.
What it means.
Make a motion to issue an abatement for 2015 property taxes on map 206, lot 31, in the amount of,
Wait a minute.
No.
You want to do this second
no,
one
no.
here?
Yeah, number 2 yet.
oh, I'm sorry,
That's all right.
we didn't finish that.
No, we didn't finish it.
Motion,
The correction.
What did I leave off?
68060. It should be.
Did I say it?
Number 2, this one,
yeah,
right, that's the new number.
so I need to make a motion?
Yeah.
I lost in place. Motion to issue an abatement for 2015 property taxes on map 208, lot 48,
108.
108.
oh, excuse me, 108, lot 48, -2.
No, we did.
No,
Yeah,
he's
you got
correct. He's correct. Continue on.
In the amount
No, yeah,
of
right.
$680.60. Do I have a second?
You have a second.
Do I have discussion?
Again, the interest of that $680.60, interest is $27.17.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 It's three places inside.
Okay.
All right, now the big one.
Gotta check this. Oh, yeah, I got that one on, too.
Well, This is the one that I said, why such a large abatement is needed.
Well, I'll get it. Wait, want to discuss it now or wait for the motion? After the
Maybe after the motion, yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion to issue an abatement for 2015 property taxes on map 206, lot 31, in the amount of $653.43.
That's incorrect.
No, that's not right.
Oh, that's right.
I screwed that one up, too.
Do I have the right?
Yeah, it's this amount,
$61.
$3,531. This is the,
Didn't we do 02 on this one?
Yeah,
Just voted
next
for.
page is go to.
Why are we signing this?
Boy, that is a big difference.
Yeah, you have to do one, maybe another one.
I thought we did one.
No. Well, you
Okay.
voted on it.
That
You
makes
now
didn't
you know why I,
And to be
sign
corrected,
it.
now you
yeah.
know why I always my,
In the amount of
So you're putting two on this.
$3,531.61. That's $3,531.61. Do I have a second? Guess not. Not gonna fail for lack of a motion. Second, is it?
No, let me go back, I was signing that. Let's see, where is that little note? Oh, yeah, okay, this is fine. This is the 20631, you say?
Yeah.
Big one.
Okay. Well, that's a hell of a drop. So excuse my language. $153,000. This is the gentleman that we talked with. Yeah. And we worked this out with you then, right? Looks like. Was he satisfied?
Should be 4.
Apparently his attorney, right?
Why didn't the second
Well,
one too?
he was nice to call and he called me. And
He had an appraisal on
Why
it.
didn't the second one too?
and we asked him to do that, and he went ahead and did it.
That's it.
Good for him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna second this then.
All right, Greg seconds that motion. Further discussion?
Again, question, I read the information here.
You wanna do the interest first?
No, I do that after the motion, so
Okay.
the next explanatory note. Scott, do you have any enlightened thoughts on this? On the reasons is that they went back and forth with their attorney and
Yeah.
location of comps, adjustments, differences, et cetera, et cetera. Not a whole lot of explanation here, quite frankly.
Yeah, Jeff indicated that it's real difficult for the, I guess you'd say, the sale comps for properties such as Coffeytown, which makes it a difficult comparison to find other properties within the region that they could actually use for those. There was an independent, I say an independent, strike that, the property owner, through his attorney, did secure an actual appraisal from another company, or he hired somebody to come in and actually do that, which was requested. I say requested, it would be part of any type of litigation that way, so he did provide that as well. So, Jeff said it's a tough one up there to know some of these values on. I don't know that. I think, this is once again, as we deal with anything that has a potential for litigation, when we actually put out an estimate based upon what the cost of this is going to incur for the town relative to a Superior Court case, between his fees, our attorney's fees, and then the possibility of having them make some form of judgment that said we had to pay his fees. This appeared to be, after some back and forth, appeared to be an agreeable.
Yeah, I understand the trade-offs between litigation and lawyer fees and all that stuff very well. However, having said that, the rationale for the reduction of that magnitude should be a little more detailed than what I see here. In my opinion. I don't know if the rest of the selectmen feel the same, but.
I went up and looked at this property. It's a unique piece of property. Have you been up there?
No, I've never seen it.
Used to be Blueberry Fields.
Really?
Used to be, what did you say?
Blueberry Fields.
Mhm.
I think it used to be
This is the
Blueberry.
one on top of,
It's on top.
it's up there.
It's up there.
You just go up Copper Crown
Yeah.
Road at the end of the class 5 section,
Yeah.
turn right, it's a long driveway.
If I recall, during the abatement part of it, why was the new garage minused out $30,000?
What's that?
On the abatement part, when they were discussing what was what and then lower that, they minused out the new garage for 30 grand. Do you understand that?
I believe
That's where they're
part of-
getting
part of
that's
that-
where they're getting their deduction in value.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And the
but
reason
it's more
part of
than that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's just
There's-
one item. I'm just saying, that was an odd way to do it, I thought.
Well, I questioned that myself. I said, why does that, because there is finished space above the garage.
Right.
But it is not apparently has no connectivity without going outside.
And coming out the outside.
Right.
Yeah,
In
the
other words,
stairways, yeah.
Yeah, there's no, it's not connected by a breezeway or
Right.
anything like that, so,
So that helped reduce it because
so
of that?
that was
Yeah,
kind
makes
of the
sense.
rationale
Okay.
for that.
The value currently
Well, you
is
don't know.
of
The key-
73 right now.
Key piece for me is, and again, this is where I have questions on the valuation process. They have a reduction due to current use. Why wouldn't that have been picked up during the first evaluation process? Is that a change in this, or is that just?
Well, I see the 14,000 there, that apparently,
No, it's above that. 73.3 or 73.4.
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Current land
Value
use.
of the current use land?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice chunk of land, mine is too.
Well, the thing is, down a little bit below, you got current use land assessed.
Right. So it looks like they took it off and then
Then
revalued it.
reapplied it
Well, I don't
at a
know.
different rate.
It's hard to figure what it really is.
Well, that's on, hence my comment that I'd like to see a little bit more explanation on this. Not that it shouldn't be done necessarily, it's just we comment to our assessor as well as to the revaluation people that said, we need a little more detail on this one.
We're not paying them by the hour, are we, off of that?
Well, we'll get to
Sure you
that.
are.
We'll get to that.
All right, so, am I hearing we want to table
Well,
this?
you have
to
a,
the
no, you have a
next
motion and
meeting?
second, so you just have to go through with that.
All right, so we had discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Swens?
I didn't hear all the votes. What was it?
Wait for you to vote.
Aye.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you first, it's only polite. All right, I'll go aye.
Yeah, I'll vote aye. But again, there are two things. Of that amount, first of all, of that amount, the interest of the $3,531.61, the interest was $141.01. And two,
Cents.
I would specifically ask both the assessor and the revaluation people why, give me a little bit more detail on why such a large discrepancy on this piece of property.
Do you want a cheddar cheese sandwich there, Swens?
No, thank you. Okay. That one's the prior one we signed. Is that the last one?
There you go.
No, we got one more.
Here's a big one.
There is no one?
One just did. I think that's the last one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Scott, why don't you go ahead and explain about the trust fund?
Yeah, on the trust fund, actually, and I just got another bill, so I might as well give you, I made a change to what you were initially given. I did a staff report, after I looked at all of these abatements, I had the town assessor go through and pull out all of the hours which are attributed to the abatements. So
Is that to each person?
Yeah,
Well, that was my question, is that I don't think you had enough in here because I'm not even sure that's enough, but that's better. But because there were several hours that he spent, which caused us to modify his monthly time due to the amount of time he spent in the abatement process.
right.
All of those hours and cost, in my opinion, is a revaluation-related trust fund issue,
I agree.
which then would put back better coverage, at least from now to the end of the year, for the assessor.
Correct. And that's basically what he has, I asked him, I said, I don't keep track of those hours. I asked him to go back through all of his past hours and put down what was directly attributed to abatements. which he put together the initial report, which was 38.5 hours.
September.
And he just gave me the invoice for this last abatement that you just did, which those were additional hours that he had, so I added it to that, and that's what you have before you, which adds another $800 to that actual invoice itself to make the transfer. So,
We can always come back again, if more you need.
yeah, I mean, I just figured since I just got the invoice actually in the mail yesterday, so, or today actually. So I added it on there so we could make the request, and that way I stayed up with it, didn't have to. So I'd make the request that the amount actually be $2,725 to be withdrawn from the reevaluation CRF and transferred to the contract assessor's account.
All right, I'll make a motion.
Well, I think we should also mention this year, the 2015, we have a high number of 45 abatements of properties this year.
Mhm.
Yeah, the reevaluation stimulated that.
Yeah.
You should see a substantial less abatements because you're only going to be taking care of 25% of your reevaluation.
Right,
as you
so
move
every year
forward.
we might be hitting this.
Well,
You won't
Ah,
have
so
to
it would be
25.
dramatically less.
You should,
It'd be dramatically less.
it should be about a fourth of that, I would imagine, if
Or
not
less.
less. I mean, it should be even less than that.
Particularly,
Well, if you're doing-
particularly the first couple of years.
If you're doing a quarter each of the next years,
Right.
did a quarter this year,
No,
No.
did more than a quarter this year?
none,
you didn't
none
do
this
any
year. That was
Over
part
a
of the deal.
5-year period, this year, you actually dealt with all this abatement stuff. Next year, you'll.
So we shook it out this year then?
Well,
Pretty
I think
much.
that was the intention.
That was the original
I'm guessing.
agreement.
Okay,
We,
all right, so it won't be as bad.
And it's my understanding, based upon the budget I was given by the assessor, is that he's actually doing that 25%.
correct.
That may also add to some
You
stabilization.
should look at the agreement contract that we have with them, because there were two separate sections of which that was one, but you should make sure that you understand that part.
Yeah. He gave me a budget and then he separated out that piece of it, but,
Well,
We should be able to go forward actually now without having to put money into the CRF and be able to budget on a year-to-year basis,
right.
I would think. And if that's the case,
Well, you've got a
we
substantial.
would want to dissolve that CRF, bring it before town meeting. So,
that's not
think
necessarily
about-
the
think
only,
about that.
that's not necessarily the only approach.
No?
Right.
The approach is to still use it as a CRF.
Right.
And, but you would expend less per year because, sorry, not per year, but any given 1 year, you'd expend less because it's only 25% of the total.
Yeah.
Which is probably more what
I can give you a
I-
couple different scenarios.
Okay.
But we don't have
As
to
far as the
replenish
budget.
that. No, okay, good.
So the key issue here you're looking for is $2,725 request to come out of the CRF to revaluation CRF to cover all year-to-date abatement-related activities from that revaluation.
Correct.
So,
And a motion?
no, I just want to make sure the public understood what the deal was, but I will make the motion. I will make a motion to authorize the withdrawal of $2,725 from the revaluation CRF and transfer the said amount to the contracted assessor account 014152-10-340, and to further request that the trustee of the trust funds to make the transfer of these funds.
I'll second that.
All right, Vince makes a motion, and Greg seconded it. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Just a quick follow-up, Scott. You're convinced that this is the total amount of cost from the abatement process that the assessor has done, year-to-date?
Year-to-date.
So far.
We shouldn't have anything else because
I
this
agree.
resolved these.
Yeah.
I don't, and these were the only items, to the best of my knowledge and recollection, that either went to BTLA or were a Superior Court destined.
Would you then go back to the assessor and ask him between now and the end of the year are we enough covered, given what we've already acted on, or do we need to review again some different hours than what we modified about 2 or 3 months ago, I think?
Yeah, I'll have him
Yeah.
figure out based on what this number is.
Point is, I don't want carryover to next year of any activities that he needs to take care of this year.
Yeah, and we do have some stuff that, is coming in, that we have to have him do some work.
We'll go through the same process, right?
Unnecessary.
All right, we have veteran tax credits. And those are usually pretty straightforward. All right, make a motion to approve the application for property tax credit exemption, veterans, for tax map 102, lot 16.
I'll second that.
All right, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Sign?
Uh-oh. Where does this go to?
The tax collector and assessor.
I screwed up, you print the first.
Oh, yeah. Do that to it all the time. And with the sticky print.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. This guy seems to be familiar here.
Can we get a pen now?
I got one here.
All right, the next one is current use application, and it's mine, so I'll step back on that.
No, I looked this over and I didn't have a problem with it, so I'm gonna make the motion to approve the current use application for map 243, lot 035, for 49.62 acres, being the lot's entirety. Do I have a second?
I have some questions first, so I'm not gonna second that yet. So the motion dies for lack of a second at this time. So let me ask a couple of questions. Process for this is that an applicant comes before the Board of Selectmen to request moving certain amounts of land into current use status, which the Board of Selectmen then acts upon, and then it gets revalued. Is that what happens, Scott?
I'm looking at the directions, the instructions. So I'll be perfectly honest with you, I do not, I would say that it does get a reevaluation because it is at a different rate of taxation. So we'll have a different taxable tax rate for that purpose.
Sure.
In that situation there, that's the reason why if you take it out, there's a penalty.
And do we have where this is located? I mean, do we have a map at all?
It is located on
Brackett Road.
Bracket.
183.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Is that part of his residence, or is that an adjacent piece of property, or what?
Well, let's see if he's here and he'll answer that question for us.
Well, it's a good question I'm asking.
Just Bickford, do you know where that is?
Yeah. Yeah, what do you want to know now?
Is this is this part of your residence property, or is this a separate adjacent property or a separate complete property?
Separate complete property.
Not adjacent at all to?
No.
Okay.
Across the road, down the street, half a mile, or I drive.
What, currently it's just woodlot, or is it? I mean, not woodlot officially, but just wooded?
No, it's also an official woodlot.
Is it called, you have it classified as a woodlot?
Huh?
You have it classified as a woodlot?
No, I still didn't.
You have it classified as a woodlot?
I don't, but the town does.
Town does. So this moves it from a woodlot status to a current use status?
They'll stay both, actually. They'll still stay woodlot, but it's applied for current use taxation.
Is that a lower tax rate then?
Yes, it would be significant.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a motion then. I make a motion to approve the current use application for map 243, lot 35, for 49.62 acres, being the lot's entirety. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just a couple of comments. We have done, how many, do you know how many we've done this year of this transfer? I think I recall
since I've been
two
here,
others that
maybe.
we've done.
At least two, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been, since I've been, since first of the year, maybe 3, 4
Okay.
at the most.
Yeah, I remember
Not
two,
many.
I remember two for sure, but
Yeah.
could be in this report.
We had to send one back because they didn't fill out the form correctly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it is backwards.
Yeah. But then they corrected it, and we approved it.
Okay.
If discussion's over, I call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Do we do abstention?
He stepped down.
He stepped-
But it
okay.
would be noted that the selectman Ricker abstained.
Yeah.
Stepped down and abstained, or abstained.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's,
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. And we'll be, let's see, hazardous mitigation plan. I guess we need to sign off on that as soon as we can. So where do we stand? Where's everybody stand on that? I guess I'm ready to sign off.
Oh, here's the, Swen's, here's the lot here.
We got it here in black and white. You got it covered.
Yeah, I already put aside.
Oh,
Pardon?
I looked at it already. It's right on the backside.
Yeah, this is what we had.
Yeah, that's in color.
It's that property I bought from the auctioneer there.
McGinnis?
Yeah. And it does about 2 other properties that they have. That's why I was interested in it. Now, one thing I did notice, it has not been, the name change has not gone through on the tax maps.
For the deed? You have the
Well,
deed. You have the deed.
Oh, yeah, I got the deed on July 19th, but as of, I'm gonna say today or yesterday or whatever, I noticed that CAI has not made the change. So if someone was gonna do something out there, and they wanna get the abutters list, they'd get the wrong abutters list. So I'm wondering if we could
I already
speak
spoke
to,
to, I already spoke to Laura about it.
oh, gee, you're Johnny on the spot.
Not about your lot, but because in general, maintenance features, she has to keep up with.
Oh, okay.
She was having technical difficulties, so.
Well, I didn't know if it was being done in batches or as we go along.
It should be done on a monthly basis, and
I would think we'd want to, after being involved with, I would say, It
No
should
reason.
happen as soon as
Yeah.
we know,
No reason, once it's done, it can't be done fairly quickly, you don't have to
as
wait.
soon as the deed comes into
There aren't
the...
that
Yeah, I
many.
think,
There aren't that many.
actually, she
Yeah,
has
that's
the,
right.
she has the ability to do those
Oh,
on
okay.
on an individual basis.
Yeah, like I said, there aren't that many, it should be done as soon as it's decided. Within,
That
you know,
keeps-
I would say within 3 business days or something.
Yeah.
Keeps everything accurate. What happened?
Well, it stuck to my fingers.
Oh. All right, back to the
Mitigation.
hazardous mitigation.
Yeah.
Do we, what are you gonna do, Scott? What do you got? Isn't there a signature place on the booklet itself?
Yeah, it's basically the certificate of adoption, which, I mean, I can read that, or somebody else can read it.
Well, do we need to do a motion or something?
Yes, it has to be an official motion, that it has in fact been adopted, the updated plan as written pursuant to the certificate of adoption. And you authorize the chair, because they only give one spot on the chair, I didn't add that in there, just having the notice, authorize the chair to sign the document.
The information you have on the back, which is a email from Stratford County, it wasn't quite clear on the first point there.
I don't think she's Stratford County, is
It
she?
says Stratford, well, Stratford, Oregon, sorry. It says Stratford.
Yeah, it's from,
That's
You're right,
the,
it's not Stratford, it's it's the
Stratford County
commission,
Planning.
yeah.
Planning, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Stratford Planning Commission.
on which number?
The first one? I don't know what it means was vetted through. What does that mean? Does that mean they said, yes, we still want to do that, or just, yes, we read it and didn't do anything about it, or what? Just
Yeah,
from the
I-
public's point of view, it says that, the statement that was of concern to me, it says the latter area around Shaw's Pond is being considered as the location of more focused development of a village center, as is the area surrounding the Merry Meeting Lake Dam. Now, if you want to protect Merry Meeting Lake, it's nowhere near what you want to do there.
Yeah,
And that was my concern that I sent into them.
she's indicated that that had been vetted through that.
I don't know what
committee.
that, I don't know what that means. Does it mean they read it and left it in? Does it mean they looked at it and said, yes, we still want it? Or does it mean we weren't even aware of it and don't care?
Yeah, good question.
Sorry.
Well, I was,
Under that scenario, I would not be able to go with this plan. Because I don't know what
yeah,
that statement means.
well, that's the,
I mean, I know that was the concern.
well, these are the things I brought up to them
Right.
and said, hey, look, I don't
Yeah,
agree.
but the response,
I don't
the
remember
response
this.
is meaningless.
I'm saying, yeah, right.
So I would not sign
I
this.
said, where did this come from?
Yeah, well, I know.
I don't remember it in the master plan.
With that language, I would not sign it. I will tell you right now. I think Shaw's Pond and Merry Meeting Lake, both, they're the abutters to that, or the people that are on that would have concern with that.
See, they did say they edited the forest plan.
Yeah, that was
Forest
fine,
stewardship
that
plan.
was fine,
It's the first one.
yeah. So,
So.
under that scenario, you know where my vote's gonna go on the
Does
current
anybody have a
reading.
proposal as to what it should say? Other than, that's the difficulty when you end up having a committee
So take it out.
and.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
Remove it. It has no business in it. Unless there's somebody somewhere that says, at some point, town vote said, yes, that's what we want to do.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm not aware of that happening.
The master plan actually talked about not developing on that region.
But
At one
there's
time,
a,
anyway.
yeah, there's a overlay protective area,
Yeah.
et cetera, but yeah.
Can you talk to him about that?
Yeah.
sure.
Well, just indicate that at least one selectman, and it sounds like more than one, but at least one selectman has significant concerns with that wording and would not agree to that plan with that wording in it. And I'm not sure if there's more than one, but at least one has that opinion.
There was other
This is
things,
nice
but it
going
was
to
minutes that I,
Would be better?
Yeah, you sit on the
I
committee,
took
so
as you
Yeah.
you let these guys down.
I thought
Well, no, they-
misinformation, they call them minutes, so.
I agree with them.
Well, which one?
One should be,
These guys?
one, no, they're right about one.
Yeah.
The rest of them are, I don't have a
I didn't bring the
problem.
plan down, but the
Yeah.
minutes are in that report.
Right.
Are all in there from the discussions.
Yeah,
And I don't recall
Well, that isn't,
in the minutes, I didn't go back and look them up, to be perfectly honest with you, because there's bigger fish to fry than this thing.
yeah.
I hate to say it. I
yeah,
mean, these plans are all great things to have
well,
someday.
yeah, someday is right. This is like,
Unfortunately, it's a federal thing, and that's
you
the
gotta,
reason why you
gotta
have them.
fill it out and get it done,
You
or we
know, if
don't
you
get our
don't, you don't
money.
get any money if
Yeah.
something happens.
Yeah,
Well, if that could come out, then I think we're good, right? Because that was
That was a
separate,
major one, yeah.
and it wasn't part of the minutes, it was a separate part of the
You
the
didn't see
plan.
anything in there. If you didn't see anything in the minutes, and
I didn't
it's
pick up
almost
on
like
it,
maybe
right?
it just got brushed over and had been in there previously and just never got.
Yeah, I don't know why,
Revisit it.
I was surprised to see it in there.
I mean, that's, yeah. We didn't go into detail on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember any discussion about it.
Yeah.
So anyway.
All right, Scott, another one.
We're just asking about that. Ask Liz, she can figure that out.
Complaints regarding the performance of the town employee policy.
Okay, I actually worked on this. And did Scott send you my changes?
Nope, I got them right here though.
Okay.
Pass those around.
Am I in red then?
Yeah, well, everybody's in red.
Wow, not on here.
Well, I did a lot of work on this.
Oh my God, they have to get payroll again.
Well, I'm sure it will.
All right. This is yours, in red?
Well, yes.
Combination.
I
Combination.
changed,
Who's the other combination?
Well, I think all this, some of it started out with
Cumulative,
some
right?
comments from Swen's initially.
Oh.
And then from there was other comments that were added as far as changes at the board meeting on July 19th, August 1st, August 15th, and then Greg sent me a full
Right.
page.
We've heard Swen's stuff. All right, and Greg, why don't you run through what you've
oh, okay.
added?
Well, on the first,
Reasoning for it.
well, actually, the first heading, I put in, it's citizens complaints regarding the performance of a town employee. I thought we should run that through the whole policy here, rather than put, oh yeah, I got that. Oh, you want to give that?
You
to
have it
me?
with you?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I don't know if it got,
well, yeah.
All right.
if you just want to read from that.
Yeah.
Logic for citizens.
Okay, so that, well, did they get this then?
No, I didn't get that.
Oh, I've got some copies. Here's my changes, but they're gonna be hard to read. It's easier just to look at the red ones that Scott did.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, the first, number one, I changed employee to citizen in the first sentence,
How come?
because you wanna keep the consistency
Oh,
of the
it
terminology.
used to be, what do you?
Well, sometimes you put employee, sometimes you put citizen, you know. So I thought we should just keep it with citizen.
All right.
Okay, so consistency. Then I took out the word, in the second sentence, I took out the word their and put his or her ability. And then I changed the citizen complaint form is also, okay. I added, well, I cleaned that last sentence up. The complaint form is available from the town administrator, now if you want to leave that in there, I took it out, but located in the town hall administration office. I don't think that's necessary, but if you want to. And then well, wait a minute, I also added,
Town website.
yeah, change for the town clerk administrator, okay.
That's in the last sentence.
No, there's more, wait a minute, this isn't right.
Well, my change was change to town clerk, tax collector, pardon me. Town clerk, tax collector, and the town administrator. And then I have, at the end.
Oh, you want to have the town clerk and the tax collector in there along with the town administrator?
Well,
I didn't know. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
that's all right. You know, I didn't have a problem with those three different individuals. I'd have preferred it, you know, the town administrator, you know, and his designee. But if you want to do a town clerk, because that's where the people come in and that's the first people they see, so they can pick this up. They also can pick it up online. So then I added the last sentence, the citizen complaint form is also available on the town website under the forms and documents link.
I like the via the town website. I'm not sure that I want to get so detailed as forms and because you may change your website vendor. But that's just a thought.
Terminology.
Well, but for now, they need to know how to find it. That's why I put it that way.
Okay?
Okay.
That's your explanation.
Yeah, okay, that's my explanation. Then on number 2, I thought everything was fine. With whoever made the changes on that one, that's fine. The number 3, sentence 1, change after in return a copy of the citizens form signed and dated by the town administrator and his or her designee. Okay? Then in number, and then I cross out the rest of that. And then in number 4, the first sentence is after filed, add in a we're gonna have to talk about this, in a non-public session. And this is the concern I had before. When we are talking about, you know, a complaint against an employee, I don't feel that we should air that in public. Even if it's a complaint about an employee, that should go to non-public and run it through non-public.
Generally you would. I don't know if there are exceptions or not.
Yeah. I just don't think you should be critical of an employee publicly. You know, that's just how I am. Then
The question is whether we want to put it in the policy or just do it when it comes up.
well, if we're going to do a policy, do it right and do it clear, black and white. Don't start getting the gray areas. That's where we've had trouble with other policies.
Oh,
Okay, so that's why I changed that to non-public meetings, and that was number 4, and then at the next regular scheduled board of selectmen meeting, sentence 2, remove "and time," and add after selectmen's again non-public meeting minutes.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. And then we'll leave the rest of that because that's important. Then number 5, sentence 2, I changed "may" to "shall." And then the term "vehicle" is horrible, so I used the term "method" again because you used it throughout the next sentence, meaning the same thing. So vehicle would be to method that we're doing this. And then once again, the non-public minutes. Then number 6, the first sentence, add the individual or, and I don't really like this, but I put it in all of them, the leader of the group. And the reason I did that is when you're getting information from a group, you need to get it from one person, the leader of the group. You can't get it from 5 different people if they're in the group. Now, here's my question to you two. Do you like that terminology? We have it through here, and we had it there before. Group. Is there a better terminology that we can use? Individual. That's fine.
You can use body, I suppose.
Well, it's the same
Individual body.
thing, and I'm not sure what that represents.
You would usually use the term entity,
Mhm.
which could be Could be a company, could be a person.
I like that better.
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody?
What would you use,
We're-
entity?
Entity, that's a real good term, Twins, thanks. So we'll change everywhere you see the leader of the group leader, get rid of that and put entity. And it's all through this. So it's individual and/or entity. Excuse me. Okay, then number, let's see, I now have a new number 7. The town administrator will contact the complainant to give him or her a progress report.
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
No.
Okay. Then how do we notify, how do we let the person know we're working on this complaint? How do we do that?
Well, you can provide that, but you can't provide what's happening.
No, no, I'm sorry. I don't mean you give them, I'm just saying you call them and say, we're working on this, I want to get back with you, let you know.
I don't know, that's something that you want to do.
But
I think once you.
we don't want to
once you
hang the
receive it-
person out there. Okay, go
I
ahead.
think once you receive the complaint, you've acknowledged that.
Right,
That's a process that starts that.
that's right.
Time period or time moving on.
Right.
As established, so I just don't.
Well, how do you touch base with that person, let them know you're working on it?
At the end, after you make a finding.
But if it's 2-3 months down the way,
Certainly, I think you can, if in fact you feel that it's a necessity, then you can certainly do that. Just let them know we're still working on it.
but
I think if I may, I think each situation might be a little bit different. So you would want to just use your discretion, that you would say, you might want to at some points get back to the person, we're working on it, just so you know, and others, it may not be. So I think you're better just to leave that open, to not put that into that detail. I mean, you've acknowledged you received it,
right,
you work on it, they might come to you and ask where it is in the process, you can certainly say that you're working on it. There's situations where I've just kept based on the involvement of the case or what the case involved, that I would just let the person know we're working on it, just so you know, but I don't think you need to just put that necessarily into your policy.
well, I had that concern too, but I just want to be fair to the person that made the complaint.
Yeah, I mean, they'll come to you, trust me. You can just say, you know what, we're working on it, appreciate it, we'll keep meeting in contact.
So is that how everybody wants to handle that then?
Yeah, that's been my preferred way.
Is everybody comfortable with that? Okay, fine with me.
Take number 7 out?
Yeah, unfortunately, now take 7 out, and everything goes back to one number ahead of that.
Now, you got anything in number 8?
Let's see. Okay, 8 is now 7. Okay, I'm going to change this right now. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, they're all changed to 8 is 7, 9 is 8, 10 is 9, 11 is 10.
You don't know yet. May change those.
No, 12, okay.
Thank you.
All right, so let's call 7. Okay, so let's see, 7 is now, okay, so the first sentence, removed if a complainant is found to have some or full validity, and to start the sentence, the individual, and now we've changed that to entity. Okay, so do that entity. So what we're doing is just taking the first part of the sentence out on the old 7. And then I've added, the Board of Selectmen finding some validity to the complaint, then the Board of Selectmen will decide what action to be taken. If the Board of Selectmen finds that the complainant has no validity, then the Board of Selectmen will take no action. And then I crossed everything else after that, and then picked up that sentence, recommendation, blah, 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 blah. And then
pursuant to change hereby, may or will. So we changed may to will on that, which you did, good. Okay, good, all right. So that takes care of the old 7.
All right.
Okay.
Just looking for your explanation of.
Yeah, and then, on the old 8, there's no changes. On the old 9, delete all 3, and just add the word "the." So the last sentence in that would be, the waiver action requires a majority vote of all the selectmen.
No.
I don't know why 3 was in there.
You would want to stop it, vote. You don't even need it really, because all actions
Okay, well, that's fine then.
are a majority,
Yes,
yes.
you want to shorten these up
Otherwise,
as much as possible. All right, that's fine. So the waiver action requires a majority vote, period. That's fine. Then, 10, I have all citizen complaints recorded shall be kept with the town administrator. All complaints which are founded and result in disciplinary action shall be placed in the employee's personnel file along with the corrective action plan that has been developed by the town administrator and the department head and discussed with and signed by the employee. So nothing should go into a personnel file without the employee knowing about it. And then if you're disciplining someone, you have to have a corrective action plan. And so we need to put that in there. And then on 11, that was 10. So on 11, there's no changes. On 12, well, it's just the same. The town manager shall send out a letter to the complainant that the investigation of the complainant has concluded. And that ends it.
All right.
Put it in letter form. So those are my
That
changes.
gives us something to consider, would you say, Swan?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few things that will differ with, but I want to see it after its final, or its next form, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. Oh, then we also, we need to change, I got online and actually looked up, online the complaint form, and it still has Jeremy's name on it, so you need to put your name on that. And you have a new email, and that needs to be updated. And then once again, this complaint form should have the word citizen in front of it. Everybody see that?
I'm not sure if I agree with the citizen or not. Yeah.
You don't like the
Okay,
citizen?
well, I don't know.
Well,
I'm chewing it over.
Hey, I'm flexible, so think about it and let me know.
All right.
But this really needs to be updated.
Good.
And it, actually, you should go through everything, and if your name isn't on it as town administrator, you can put it in there. And take whoever, Carter or Jeremy's name off. Need to be updated here.
Part of my recommendation would be you just put the town seal on it and leave all that stuff off.
What they want to do?
Well, I don't know.
The only nice thing is then they
Phone
have,
numbers.
but they have a person that they know that they can contact.
Yeah.
But you're
That's all
right,
right.
if you don't want the phone to ring, don't put your name on anything.
All right, then let's take a look at the community room facility.
Okay.
Policy. We put that in there.
Okay, now,
I thought we
you.
wrapped it up on that one.
No, we haven't wrapped it up, and I haven't finished that one. I'm still working on that one.
All
So if we
right.
can put that off, I'd appreciate
All right, nothing to offer us tonight then.
it. Nothing on for you tonight, but I will have it the next meeting.
All right, put table on it. 9, 7, 16.
Sorry about that.
Put that on the list. Remember, just a perambulation. Walking
No, there's
around.
no update, I'll just leave it on there, I just have
No.
to table it. I haven't heard anything back from Middleton, and I haven't had time to contact the surveyors for some pricing.
This I thought was quite informative.
Yeah,
This, you know, I hadn't read things like that in a long time.
yeah, description.
Yeah, my dad was a surveyor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yep. Civil engineer and surveyor.
Oh, I worked for a couple of surveys.
Yeah.
Rodman work.
Yeah. He did rod work and, yeah.
Machete work.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what I did for.
Go out and find the boundaries for them before they.
So I do
Field
not,
works.
if there's no other old business.
What's that?
If
You wanna
don't-
go into non-public?
No, we got minutes to review.
Right.
But I do not have the August 29 general meeting minutes.
Okay,
Uh,
all right, that's fine.
I asked Jen Wall today, but I had no response.
Okay.
You had one? No.
I contacted Jen by email, but I had no response.
Oh, okay.
So what we're gonna do, start with the August
So we have the
29th, non-public?
Yeah, we have the
unsealed.
unsealed minutes.
Yep.
I
get 'em
have
up.
copies of Swen's edits. Changes.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
On that particular day, is 7 o'clock the right time to be entered into a public session? I get
Yes.
5:30 that we came in,
Um,
and then we went into
yeah.
non-public from there, which would have been a minute or so later.
Yeah, it must be. Yes, you're exactly right, because no, I'm sorry,
Well-
we started that day at 5:30.
Oh, 5, yeah, that's right, we started at 5:30.
We entered in, I think, at 5:31, and we went upstairs at 5:32 maybe.
And we talked about those two officers?
Actually, we entered in at 5:33. We opened up the meeting at 5:30, and then 5:32 is when the motion was completed, so.
Yeah,
Then we,
Enter non-public session at 5:32.
It should be 5:33.
I had it,
5:33.
Call the meeting to order, I don't know what time that was.
entered in non-public session at 5:33.
Up in the conference room.
So were we, it
Well-
was 7:19 sound right? I guess it is, I get
For what?
coming back.
No. No, it came back at 6:31.
Yeah.
That sounds all right.
Yeah, entered non-public session at 5:32, I had written down.
So that's when I would have called me back in, right?
5:33 upstairs.
Instead of 7:19?
Yeah.
Six 6:36 is when we got back to public, but we ended this at 6:31.
Yes, that's what I wrote down.
So these are wrong here then, right? This needs to change
that one
to
should- that one
5:33, this one?
5:32 and then 5:33. That's 5:32, and then this one's 5:33.
Okay.
Well, actually, he entered into non-public at 5,
Yeah, something's wrong there.
yeah. No, technically, as soon as you vote, you're, I guess, in non-public, right?
I have 5:32 written down on my notes.
Yeah.
Sounds fine.
I tend to write, when we get upstairs, the time,
Yeah.
and I
No,
wrote,
5:33 is correct on that.
yeah, 5:33, I wrote down up here, because I jot down 5:33.
Let's get, went into the non-public. We are on. Wait, am I on the right one?
The one
Oh, you're on
down,
the
829.
August 29th.
Sorry about that.
You get one with Swin's track changes that Craig just sent over to you.
I got the same thing going on the public one. On 15th, I think.
Well, that's different, yeah, different timing than that.
Okay.
So have we worked that timing out then? You entered into non-public session at, what, 5:33 or 5:32?
532.
And moved to Selectmen's conference room. And then at 5:33, the board reconvened the Selectmen's conference room where they were joined by police officers.
I think you really only need when you entered into, you take the vote and now you're into non-public. There's no, I don't think there's a, no, it's just you don't say anything at all.
You know better than I do.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Um,
So what do you want to do then on that?
Well, I would just, I think the 533 would be, what did you say?
That would be 5:32.
No, you go into
Under
public.
that scenario, it's 5:32.
All right, whatever. You're gonna put down, when you came together, they opened your meeting up, like, I'm gonna say 5:30, and 2 minutes later, you went into non-public. And then
Then it
next,
just-
next one, your time you put down is when you left non-public.
Yeah, that's fine.
When you adjourned non you actually became public again.
Yeah.
You may have reconvened, but you, yeah, so you don't need a lot, 2 times. 29, so I'm good. Yep, good.
Well, I don't have any changes on that.
All right. Well, you corrected it down there, I guess. Is that correction on the time? Yeah, I guess it is. In that case, I'll make a motion to approve the August 29th, 2016 non-public minutes.
With,
With amendments.
what did you say with amendment?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll second
All those in favor? Aye.
that. Aye.
And here are August,
Oh, you're gonna love this.
August 15.
I made changes. Oh, everybody made changes.
Should be clear, yeah.
Okay. I didn't do mine in red. I'm just gonna tell you about it.
What is this?
I got one red. This is yours.
Are those are-
No,
No, I'm gonna give you
that's
mine.
mine. This is 15. Okay, and you've got something to give me? You said Greg or us?
Yeah, yeah.
Give us.
This is, it's marked, which one it is.
Oh, did you make a change? So this is for. the
Yeah.
change? Oh, good.
Yeah, this is the change.
Oh, is that extra copy?
That's for Jen, if you need to, if she needs.
I do all the changes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you do? Okay, well, then you have to. And then I have other
This
changes.
was the day after the meeting, it's consumed by.
Oh, my God.
On Sludge, your
Big day.
Pardon?
fourth line up from the bottom, enter left public session, 6:36.
Yeah, I was redundant there.
How you want to change it?
Left, it should be left public session. Or you can enter non-public, either one.
Okay, left public sector.
You probably better, to make it consistent, put entered non-public.
Gotcha.
Take out left and put
Yeah.
in on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Act? Okay. Had it below, but that's all right.
public input.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and I have, Dot Vizel resident stated she wanted to clear up some misunderstanding regarding committees. And then I took that next sentence completely out because it's incorrect. What I then put in was, she stated that any number of members of the planning board and budget committee, if there is an opening, can apply for the CIP committee. Now that's rough.
Well, read what I wrote for a change.
Oh, will you change it too? Wait, let's see. Public input. Okay. Well, see, that's an incorrect statement. The second sentence is incorrect. She didn't say that. She referred to the New Hampshire State
She
RSA.
actually did say that.
And there is no limit for the number of members on the advisory CIP committee. That's not correct.
That's what she said. It may not be correct from the RSA, but that is what she said.
But I don't remember her saying that.
Yeah, I remember saying it, but because I caught me too, there is no RSA on advisory CIP. There is a RSA on CIP committees if you use the statutory ones. We don't have to use the statutory one. If you read the statute.
Yeah, well, my feeling is, we don't have to put everything down. And when something's way off, we don't have to put it in the minutes. So don't put it in. It just confuses people.
Yeah, it's been a problem.
Yeah.
The only thing I saw was clear misunderstanding. She called it rumors. She wanted to clarify what it was, rumors she heard. So I don't know where the rumor came from.
Yeah, I didn't
It
even.
sounded like it came from us, but
Yeah.
it didn't come from me.
Well, yeah, there's some misunderstanding regarding committees. I don't know whose misunderstanding it was. We never had a misunderstanding. Now, she did say that.
Why not just that she spoke to the CIP, advisory CIP membership? She spoke about membership.
Well, her point was.
That way it doesn't get lost.
Yeah.
And say something.
Yeah, her point was, which I still don't understand what her point was, because everybody knew it, that, any number of members from the planning or any number of members of the budget committee can apply for CIP. There's not a limitation. There's not only one that comes from those committees, but no one.
Yeah.
I think that's what my change states.
So,
I think that's what my change states.
but no, it's not clear.
Yeah, no limit would be very succinct, I guess. So, how do we want it?
Well, wait a minute now, wait a minute. I'll tell you how we can do this. Just cross out, she referenced,
She spoke about membership.
Yeah.
That's what I would have.
what do you want to do? Dot Vizel resident stated,
Yeah, Dot Vizel residents spoke about membership on the advisory CIP committee.
perfect. Perfect, that's fine with me.
That way you don't have to worry about mixing things up.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And I think that was her point anyway.
Take it all out?
No,
Well, just put in Dot Vizel resident and then go spoke about membership on the advisory CIP committee.
perfect. and while we're talking about that, we're not, public input, these people, the residents can say anything they want, whether it's true or not, or accurate or not. And we're supposed to just sit here and not say anything. But there are times when a response might be needed, so there's not a confusion. And I'm asking the other two selectmen, how do you want to do that?
Don't have public input. That way you don't have misinformation.
That's not a satisfactory solution.
Yeah.
That's what Tuftonboro did.
But for Tuftonboro, we're not Tuftonboro.
Oh,
Is that right? Suttonboro doesn't do public input anymore?
well. You get to be like this. All right, we have work to do.
Well,
I
anyway.
don't know if they reinstated it again or not.
Yeah,
but,
well, that's my concern.
And you do, that is a problem.
I mean, I'll give you an
I
example.
never see so much false information
Yeah.
thrown around.
Well, yeah, I mean, and our hands are really tied legally. We can't discuss when there's an ongoing negotiation or there's something to do with an employee. And a lot of this tonight was, kind of pushing the envelope about, finalizing this agreement. Well, I think we're all ready to finalize an agreement. We're just not going to finalize a bad agreement or something that might cause a selectman not to be able to freely speak or freely do his job. And that really concerns me, and I won't sign off on any of that. Now, they did take it out. Oh.
Let's go to the point of the
I think
minutes.
that's a topic for another minute.
Yeah,
Let's get to
okay.
the point of the minutes.
No, well, you're right, but the
We're on
reason,
minutes,
we're on minutes. Okay.
August 15th.
But how do we, well, all right. No one came up with a solution.
You're all done.
To what?
Yeah, cross it all out, put in there.
Yeah, we did that one,
Spoke
okay,
about
yeah.
membership on-
Moving on, page
Yeah.
2.
Okay, now, based on the provided, there are 3 categories of levels. Christine, oh, this
Which
is
ones? You
nice.
did well by getting all that stuff down.
Well, I'm impressed.
In the 1,
Took you this long?
3, 4, 5.
I've been impressed all along, but sometimes you impress me even more than other times.
2 culverts near the hatchery were tested with on resulting on what?
Yeah, tested. Should be tested resulting in, cross out with on.
Tested with
Where are we here?
halfway down on.
Which line?
Halfway down.
Where it starts into about 4 to 6 million gallons per day.
Yep.
2 culverts near the hatchery were tested, cross out with on. It was,
Oh,
I started
take out with
on a different thing and didn't take out everything I had started on.
Tested, resulting. Okay.
What, in 2006, one result was 30 to 112 part per million?
Yeah.
How can it range like that?
That's what he said. And when I was using his words from my notes, but I think what you might say was in 2006, one test result. It wasn't one test, it was one time testing. I think that may be what he was trying to drive at.
Right.
One time
He tested.
testing. One time he tested it and it ranged from. So
30.
the way you might phrase it, and again, this is what the words we use, but what you might phrase was in 2006, a one-time, one-day test result. That's what,
But it's plural, it's not one.
one-day test result ranged from,
Does anybody want any water?
that was, no,
No.
thanks. That was,
Do any water?
No, I'm full.
he only had one test result from, I
right.
got the interpretation it was from different locations.
No.
2006 results ranged from,
No, in 2006, one-day test result ranged from 30 to 112 ppb.
in Jones Pond.
He didn't say the location on that one.
Oh, geez.
It had to have been, I don't know where it was. He didn't say the location on that. He went on to say Jones Pond results were that. So I think this is more than Jones Pond in that
Right.
range. And it should be and before the 40. So the 40 ppb range, and in 2004 winter, there were 10 ppb in one location and 40 ppm, sorry, it should be ppb, by the way, in another location. Should be ppb instead of ppm.
Take the M out. right?
Yeah, well, put a B in there instead of an M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said in 2006, one day's test
Yeah,
results?
2000, yeah, 1 day test result ranged from
Okay.
30 to 112.
We don't know where.
He didn't specify.
I know that makes it, you know, how valuable is it? Does it confuse
Well,
the
I
issue?
mean, again, it was that, well, you know, much of it was somewhat anecdotal, but still, it's a valuable interest point. May not be
Is it
really
accurate?
referenceable. That's what he gave.
Okay.
This is what he gave.
Okay.
Should be Manitou, by the way. See that? Manitou Shore.
It is.
No, it says Manitou.
Oh, man.
The A's missing.
Oh, no,
Man,
no A.
I.
Man is A in there, right? Manatee? Or no,
Manitou.
Manitou.
Oh,
Yeah, but what's M-A-N?
Now you get me confused. I thought it was an I, but
Right.
Manitou.
right down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty sure it's an I.
You'll have to
Could be.
do that.
It's neither in one, the way it's printed here.
I have to ask him.
You know it's wrong, we just don't know what it's right.
Who's Brian?
What's that?
Brian.
Yeah, he's out there.
There it is,
He had all day with his kids at school.
I know.
He's working a long day. He's Mr. Leish.
All right, I'm all set with 2.
Oh, wait a minute, let's see. I had some questions. Well, no, I think Swin's made
Oh,
the
I
corrections.
did have something.
The numbers are different.
Yeah, 3 is now 2.
Looks like we scheduled.
Okay, he did that, scheduled for, and he put in red August 29, 2016. So he corrected that, good. And then hazard mitigation, selectmen supposed to ask you authorize the plan, and if the information was available, as well as change from the prior plan. It's kind of just hanging out there, isn't it? What purpose did you have that second sentence in? The one that started on page 3, the 4th paragraph down, starting with town administrator Kidman stated.
Stated.
Yeah. Then
That's what I asked for.
But it's just kind of hanging out there.
No.
Okay.
Selectman Swenson asked who authored the plan and if information was available as to what was changed from the prior plan.
Okay.
I think you were looking at track changes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Or a comparative
Yeah.
table or whatever.
Okay. Now I do have changes, but it looks like you did it here. The 1,000. 5784, you made that change, good. And then you added those numbers, that's good. And let's see. And you checked those accounts, did you?
That's what the motion was, yeah.
Okay.
The bottom of Swenson's page 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines up, it says, you see administrative assistant of the town of Middleton. Pretty sure they call her her title is the selectman secretary over there, if that means anything.
They said, what did you say? Yeah, what did you say?
I think they call her the selectman's secretary or?
No, she's administrative assistant.
Oh, she is, okay,
According to email.
okay.
She just gave herself away. Or a title, though.
I thought it was same as Vincent, so.
Okay.
Yeah, give me-
Okay, now I have, let's see, is my thing's coming up yet?
Bottom of the page.
3 or 4, yeah. Oops, oh, there it is. Okay, so, Chair Whitford, Town Administrators.
Scott, you put together a page for us that we, your report. You forward that to the minute taker?
No.
I think it might be a good idea, just send it to her, that way she's got a lot of the same stuff that we said in those,
Oh, motions?
yeah,
and
those
stuff?
motions that would be helpful to her, I would think.
They're not always exact, but
No, I probably could, I just have to redact out some stuff. 'Cause
On the
that's-
public side?
yeah.
I'm only thinking about the public.
Wow.
Oh, I see
What
what
he
you
gives us is
Because
not
I give you-
always just public.
I give you
Either that, you need 2
more
pages.
meat and potatoes.
Okay, maybe
I
a
give
copy,
you some-
maybe a copy and paste, and
Yeah,
it might help her out. I thought you did.
no.
All right. There, last page.
Okay, now I have to change under public policy, pardon, public participation policy. And here, and I gave it to you.
Yep. Right here.
Yep.
No, I haven't got that part yet.
Okay. Swin started it, which I appreciate, but I really laid it out. Oh, wait a minute.
At the
Did I
top,
give you the time? Do you have another one of this? Is there a time to the left of pencil? No. Do you have pencil?
yep.
No. Do you have a little time? Oh, Swin's has it.
What's that?
Do you have this one with the little pencil mark on the left side?
I got a pencil mark on the left side,
No.
right side.
Right side, okay, that's mine. And that's gonna be given to Swins.
Oh,
What difference does it make?
Well, because yours, well, you'll see.
all right, I want to go to the top of the last page, it's Swen's copy, and in that first paragraph, the last sentence in red, it says Selectman Swenson read the resignation email from Ms. Cantrell. Okay, next sentence, Selectman Bickford asked whether we need to accept the resignation through a formal motion. Probably should state that you got an answer for that question.
I think I answered it.
I believe you did.
I think I said it's probably.
Yes, you'd like that or
best to-
something.
Add that
Prob-
sentence.
Probably best to
So if
do
you
so.
could
Yeah.
Add that
add
sentence.
TA
That's fine.
suggested, yeah, to do a motion. Or how to
That's what
work.
Ms. Swenson asked.
TA stated it'd be best to do so, I guess, huh?
What's a vegetarian impasse?
Pardon?
I don't know, impasse.
That's a T, should be a T, impact.
Oh, impact. Okay.
Did you get that, Scott?
Back analysis has been done. It was noted that
I gotta change
it
here
is
too.
not reviewed is okay. Tax deeded properties, should that be plural or just singular? So town administrator came in and stated, he received an inquiry about tax deeded lots, or a tax deeded lot in Copper Run Village District from Annabutter.
He wasn't a butter.
Oh, it wasn't?
But my understanding was he was not a butter, because it was asked, and I understood him to say no.
No,
That's why I
thought-
changed it to one who was interested in the property.
I understood it was.
Is that the one we talked about tonight?
Yep,
No,
the one that had the right of way go through what I said.
this was Stetson, right?
Is there some other one?
This one.
Oh, you're thinking of Stetson?
Yeah.
If it's Stetson, yeah.
He's not a butter?
Oh,
Is that the way, is that what's being referred to here?
no.
Or is it the lot that has that
I
right?
think he was actually referring to, he might have been referring to the one that has a shell there. He wants to
No, no,
make it
no.
a wounded warrior place.
You understand? Yeah, I don't think you heard the question. Paragraph 1, I'm interpreting to be the same reference as paragraph 2.
And I would not.
What David Bickford is saying is he thinks it's two different interests, but I don't think so.
No, it was.
The same guy, right?
Stetson.
Yeah.
Okay,
Same subject.
then we'll keep it the way it,
Same
the way you
subject,
changed
yeah.
it then.
Sorry. Yeah, don't forget for a lot of public there, just, I had I had an email that came in about an inquiry on a property too.
Yeah, I actually have that.
You guys have that, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that I can reply to
Okay.
that.
So I have a change in the, from the bottom up, the second paragraph. It starts, there were further discussions of different methods of disposal of town-owned tax deeded properties, including auctions and sealed bid. Selectman Anthony provided his review. Well, I wouldn't say of some, I did them all that we were given.
No, they're not all, but all is the one I listed. There are many more than what you had.
Well, but that's all I had received.
That's why I said some.
You only did 14.
Okay. All right,
That's why I said some.
all right, that's fine.
You probably should have provided, by the way,
Yeah, provided.
provided, yeah, add the deed
Yeah,
to the
add the deed
provide.
there.
Oh,
Okay.
All right, now we're down to,
Public participation policy. What I've done is I've kept the first sentence, Selectman Anthony presented a revised copy of the draft for review. Then after that, cross everything out and put this paragraph in.
you know something? I'm missing page 5.
Well, we're on four, the bottom of 4.
On this one. There's something missing. Page 5 is
Yeah.
you want some page 5? You know, I like to take that copy machine and burn it out.
Page 5 isn't gonna have too much, I can share that when we get to it.
Okay.
Actually, no, you know, I printed this off on my printer. So, probably stapled to somebody else's. Do that or on some
Well,
other.
that's okay. What do you got?
Okay.
So, Greg, let me back up then.
Okay, so what I did is.
I gotta get caught up on another
Okay,
street.
this should be 4 or 5, page 4 or 5.
Public petition policy, okay, now where do you want
This
me
is
to close
Swins',
out?
no, this is the one, I've been going off of
Yeah,
Swins'.
but I don't have that.
You don't have this
Yeah,
one?
you do, it's right here.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
4 or 5.
I only need those few lines.
Okay, so what I
That's all there
did,
is except for the motion.
yeah,
Oh.
the
Right
first,
now.
the first sentence we keep,
Okay,
and then everything on this 4 or 5, cross it out. And then add this paragraph.
let me, it was noted the draft has been reviewed by the town or administrator.
Get rid of all that.
That really should be written out.
Well, you'll see it
Two
on mine.
attorneys, including town council, has been worked on for 5 months.
Get rid of all that, forget that.
I just want to see what I'm getting rid of.
Okay,
There was discussion about whether the policy is necessary. And you've got one right here.
okay, that's the new version.
We had to do
And I quoted Swins. I went back twice and made sure, or 3 times actually, to make sure I did it exactly right. And if you have questions, it's 2 minutes, 2 hours, 19 minutes and 44 seconds.
I don't have any questions. That's what I said.
Okay, well, you're comfortable with it?
Well, that's what I said. I don't think you need all that. I think this does it, but that's beside the point.
Well, I wanted to kind of.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of go in detail only because this public participation policy is a major policy. And so I want people to know that we spent a lot of time on it. And, you know, there was quite a bit of work on it.
I will provide a little bit of input, which is that many people probably feel you spent way too much time on it.
Well, but,
I'm just,
well, I understand.
no need for a response, just an input.
Okay,
it. Okay, I'm all set.
well, it's my time, so what, I don't get paid for this, what do they care?
Yeah.
So,
All right, I'll make a
Agree to
motion
that, okay.
to, if Scott's got all
Well,
that.
you got page 5 still.
And here's page 5. Okay, you can look at this one.
Draft, it was discussed. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 15th.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
As amended.
Wait a minute.
I'll second.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I got a first and a second.
Wait a minute.
Any
Well, I
further-
got to discuss
Any
it.
further discussion?
Yes, on the page 5 of 5.
Yeah.
You've crossed out fire department
Yeah.
and put New Durham Community Room.
Oh, it should be New Durham
It
Fire
should be.
Department Community Room.
Yeah, fire department community.
All right, Scott. I'll fix that, Scott. You're the one that invented it, so.
There is no formal action on that.
Yeah, it is. Right. So it's not. But it's okay, we can fix it the way you usually call it, Scott.
So it's a fire department.
Fire
community.
station,
Fire station?
I think that's what I call it.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'll have to, let me look at the policy.
Okay, look at the policy, and what it says. And if that's the case, are you making a
Durham
motion?
Fire Station
Already did.
Community.
We've already
We
made
got
a
a second
second,
With the,
As amended.
as amended?
not with that last change.
That's right. That's why I jumped in there.
Oh, okay.
So you got to
So
pull
I just,
back,
all right, I'll withdraw my motion.
withdraw your motion.
Now what are we gonna?
The same thing, same
Okay.
motion.
Yeah, I'm
With the
okay
change.
with, fire station community room.
Yeah, that's,
Fire
okay.
station, I think that's what we call it.
Fire station community room. All right. So we
New
don't,
Durham Fire
New
Station.
Durham Fire Station community room.
well, we don't need to move New Durham, we know it's New Durham, we're not gonna travel all.
Well, I think for now, we're gonna call it New Durham.
I put it all in there because it's been undecided as to what it's supposed to be called.
No, well,
So I included it both, from both sides of the house.
okay, well, you're a kind person.
I'm just being politically correct.
You got that, Scott? Get it down politically correct there?
I put down New Durham Fire Station Community Room.
All right, then I make a motion to approve the August 15, 2016 minutes as amended. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, great second. Any further discussion? Hoping not. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Oh, Swenson's opposing?
No, he said aye,
Oh, okay.
for the record. That's unanimous.
Okay, so we got that done. Okay, now, so we okayed that.
If I can,
All right, now
before we
we're,
go into non-public, I
You wanna
did
do
have
this
that
one?
email correspondence of an inquiry relative to a tax deeded property. It was not on your original list of the 13 properties. And I just wanted to make sure that I would be correct in sending a email response back, just indicating that it was not under consideration at this time.
That's fine. That's that real steep one, quite a few.
No.
No, that's a 54-acre parcel.
That's what this one is, right?
the back,
54 acres up around.
Shaw's Pond.
Is it?
Right, yeah,
on the north side of Shaw's Pond.
right.
Shaw's Pond.
Shaw's Pond.
No, We already had
Supposed to
worked,
happen.
we already had worked out a position on this piece of property, which dates back to late 2014. Might want to check back on that.
Okay.
We probably should take it off the tax deed roll, so. But if time he wants to sell it, it's not something I would want to see developed.
No.
That's in that area of town that was in the hazard mitigation
To be developed.
to be developed.
I don't know
Our
who
new
keeps.
town center, right?
Yeah, another town center.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's gonna be,
But
Middleton.
we had already worked out a position on this piece of property, as I said, goes back to mid to late 2014, probably in the October, September area, somewhere in there.
All right, so
Probably.
we can.
I can actually probably give you exactly what it has, but I don't have it in here, but I have it in
Yeah,
my files.
if
so.
you could
Yeah.
send it to me, that'd be
Yeah.
great. Then if I take it, that position was, not to do anything with it at this time?
No, there was a opportunity to carve out for the abutters only,
Yeah.
and then the rest of it, I think. At the end.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Well, I move that we move into non-public. I make a motion to move that we go into non-public.
You want to say,
Okay.
Oh,
I don't think you can quite do it that way.
No, I can't do it that way, I apologize, because we need to add something to that one and put employee.
so that would be, all right, my motion sheet's in here somewhere. We've got C and E that Scott wants us to do.
Hang on.
You want something too. Let's see. A is dismissal, promotion, compensation of any public employee who is disciplining or the disciplining of such employee, or investigation of charges against him or her. Second, B is the hiring of any person or public employee. We're not going to do that, I don't think. Matters which are discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of any
This is for
person.
the ambulance, is it?
So we got C on that.
I got C and E written down here.
Huh?
I have C and E.
C, and E is
Litigation?
consider
Litigation.
negotiation.
C is for the ambulance thing? Yeah.
Okay, so what did you want to do?
Employee, we want to talk about an employee.
Would that come in under A or would that come under C?
Why do we need to do that?
Well, you'll find out.
No complaints that I'm aware of. Are there any complaints, Scott?
Well, you'll find out.
Do you have a formal complaint?
I have a,
You'll find out.
All right, is that, which one is that?
Do you have
A
a
or-
formal, I mean, either you do have a formal complaint or you don't.
I have a complaint.
Formal.
Is that C or, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, is it
Okay.
right now? Just, which will come under? A or will it come under C?
I think it comes under C right at the moment.
All right, then we're all set.
I gotta go get it off.
What we got?
Yes.
We got everything covered then?
Yeah, all right, I'll make a motion to enter into non-public on RSA 91-A:3, Roman 2, C and E. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, Greg seconds it. All those in favor identify themselves.
Anthony's aye.
Swenson, aye.
And
Swenson, aye.
Swen's aye. So we're covered there.
So we are at 10:47.
10:47.